Hi, this is Umair back with another video. This time I'm a bit more excited because I'm going to develop a game for multiple platforms with the help of this gaming engine called GameMaker Studio. So in this video, I'll be talking about how to develop games, how to deploy games, how to use different tools inside this GameMaker Studio for developing games for Android, iOS, Windows, web and desktop. Alright, so you can see on my screen, this is the game that I'm going to develop. I'll give you all these assets, but make sure you don't publish this game by your own name. If you want to publish it, make sure you change the assets and add few levels inside this game. I'll be giving you an idea how to create this main menu. If I click on start, it will show me another screen, and on this screen I need to pop this balloon. It's asking me pop me. If I click on it, this balloon will be popped up and my gameplay screen will be shown up. If I just click on it, I'm just showing you by clicking on it, but if we run this game on mobile device, we need to touch this thing. Okay, so if I click on it, and you can see that game has been restarted. I need to pop up all the balloons, and with the time the speed of balloon will be increased. Alright, so I can also click on it. It's asking me that you really want to end the game. If I say yes, the game will be end and it will close the game on any device, whether it's desktop, web or mobile. If I say no, game will be restarted. I can also pause the game, okay, and then I need to click on the resume button in order to replay the game. If I click on it, and let's just end the game. Once it ends, you can see that I have a replay button for restarting this game. I have the exit button for exiting the game on mobile, web or desktop, and it's showing me current score that I have just played in front of you, and it is showing me the best score. And I'll be using INI files that is used to store the scores inside the device, whether it's a mobile device, web device or desktop device. If I close the game and replay the game again, this score will be shown up again. This is the best score and it is permanently stored in my device, and I'll be starting from the start by creating a new project. Okay, and I'll be giving you this whole assets. So let's get started, but before that, again, in my all videos I've been telling you that go to Facebook and join this programmers group for getting more information and for learning more about programming. So let's get started and create our amazing balloons popping game. So when you will download and install GameMaker Studio in your system and open the file, you will see this interface. I'm using a kind of older version as I'm making this video in 2017 right now. In 2017, GameMaker Studio 2 have been released. But you can carry on with me. The tools and the logic of code will be same that I'll be writing in this video, and all the structure of programming files, objects, sprite sheets will be remaining same. Okay, so you can carry on with it if you have even older version or the latest version of GameMaker Studio. So when you will open it, you need to click on new and you need to give the path of the project where you want to create it. So let me give the path. Okay, so let me create a new folder. Okay, and I'm going to name this project balloons, and I'll click on create. So it will take some time and it will create a new project inside GameMaker Studio. Okay, so if I click on it, you can see that it has created an empty project inside GameMaker Studio. First of all, I want to introduce you about the interface of it, because I'm focusing on the beginners who just want to learn the game programming and don't have any experience inside it. So you can see that on the left side I have these default folders. I can't create custom folders because these are used for specific purpose. The first one is the sprite. Sprites are anything inside our game. It can be button, it can be image, it can be our character, it can be wall, background. Everything is sprite. Anything that we want to use in our game, we must bring that thing inside this folder. Okay, and after that we have sounds for bringing up the sounds inside our game, the background for adding up the background inside our scenes. The path is used for detecting our racing games, for detecting the distance from one path to other path, but we are not going to use this folder in this game. Okay, we have the scripts folder. All the codes and the logics that we need to write, we add that file inside this scripts folder. Any script that is needed to be used for multiple objects can be added inside this scripts folder, but we can also write scripts, write our code directly inside our individual object. That we are gonna do in this video. We have the shaders for adding the shadows. We have the fonts for adding the scores, high scores, current score that we are going to use in this video. We have the timeline for creating the times. We have the objects. So anything that we want to create in our game should be inside the sprite folder, and once it inside the sprite folders, we need to create the object of individual sprite inside this object folder. All right, so anything that is not in the sprites folder cannot be added inside this objects folder, and anything that is not inside this objects folder cannot be used in our game. Okay, so one sprite should also be inside this objects folder and inside this sprites folder. We have rooms. Rooms are the screens. Each room, we have the main menu screen, we have a gameplay screen, we have multiple stages of our game, we have end screen, we have resume, pause screen. So all the things will be in this rooms folder. All right, other things are just for extensions, and I'm going to click on this global game settings. Okay, so it's gonna open up this window, and you can see at the top we have the main menu that is showing the multiple platforms for those we can create our game. We have Windows, we have Mac, we have Linux, we have HTML5, iOS, we have Windows Phone, Android, Facebook. And if I click on Android, we can add the name of our game that we want to show up on the Play Store. If we want to publish this game, we can add a version. We add the company name, we can add the logos and multiple things that we are gonna do at the end of this tutorial, and I'll show you a completely running game on my Android device. All right, so at the top you can see that we have different buttons. We can also right click on it and create different things, but we can directly click on it. If I hover my cursor on it, you can see that we can also create a sprite by clicking on it. We can play our game, and this is the main thing that we want to focus on. This is the target platform for which we are developing our game. Okay, so right now I have set it to stream workshop just for testing purpose. If I want to test the game running on my screen, that I was just playing the game by clicking on it, that's why I just clicked on stream workshop. If I want to publish my game Windows, that needs to be selected. If I want to publish my game iOS, Android, Windows 8, Ubuntu, HTML5, that needs to be selected. Okay, so just for testing purpose, we need to click on stream workshop. All right, so now once it is selected, let me give you something inside the file. If I click on the file and go to the preferences, you can see that I have other things inside it as well. I have the Android. So inside this Android, I need to give the links, the folder links of my SDK that I'll be showing you later on, and I have the NDK. I can also give the link on JDK. It's showing me that check Android SDK right now does not exist because I need to give a proper path inside this GameMaker Studio. Okay, so for now that's pretty much it. So if you have downloaded the sprites, make sure you put those assets inside the balloons project. This is the project that I'm running on the GameMaker Studio, and this is the folder, assets folder. Inside it I have sound and I have sprites. These are the sprites that I'm gonna be using in this video, and this is the background image. Make sure you download it and put it just aside of your project. Okay, so now let's start creating our game. Now let's create our first scene, and inside that scene I'm going to add a background. So inside the rooms folder, if I right click on it, it's saying me that create room. I'll click on it. Okay, so let's just close it. All right, make it a little bit bigger. Now I need to go to setting and give it width and height. So we are making our game for our mobile device, and that will be in the portrait layout. We need to give a width to it accordingly. So the width would be 768 and height would be 1024. So this is the height. Every device, mobile device, might have different resolution, but this is a common width and height for all the mobile devices, common ratio of width and height. And those devices which are have different width and height than this, the game will automatically compress or stretch its pixels to fit inside that device. So you can see that we have our actual scene right here. Now we need to go to the background and we need to click on this background 0, and if I click on it, you can see that it's saying me there is no background added in my background folder. If you see this folder backgrounds, you can see that we haven't added our background sprite, background image inside this backgrounds folder. When we will add our background image inside it, it will not show no background. Instead it will show our actual background. Okay, so we have set our properties. Let's change its name. So I'll name it start page. Okay, so now we need to save these settings. I need to click on this tick button. So we have saved our start page. Now I need to right click on backgrounds folder and create background, and it has opened me a window. I can also edit a background. It has just shown me a paint like tool. Inside it I can give it a width and height. Okay, and I can also do something that I want. I can have a pen, I have brush, I have the circles and different other things, but I have given you sprite sheets and I have given you images. I'm not gonna use this one, so I'll cross this. Okay, instead I will load background. Okay, so I need to go to my assets folder, inside the games, assets, and this is the background. I'll open this up. Okay, and I'll click OK. So I have a background 0 in my backgrounds folder. I need to go back to my start underscore page. If I double click on it, it will open this thing up. Okay, so now I need to go to background and come down. If I click on it, you can see that it's showing me background 0 because I added the background 0 inside it. If I click on it, you can see that this background have been added to my room, and if I click on it, you can see that I have the grids. I can also remove the grids to see the proper view. Visual representation is looking pretty good. If I click on it, this grid is just for laying out different items, different objects on this room. So we have set up our background to our room. Now let's test it. If we run our game, this background actually shown up or not. Okay, so I will click on this tick icon to save the changes. Let's press Ctrl S to save our project. Now I need to select the Stream Workshop and click on this play button. If I click on it, you will see that it has opened up and the background have been successfully added inside my room. So we have set up our background. Now we need to set up our start screen that has our logo of our game, and that has a start button, and that has an exit button on our start game. So for that we need to add our sprites in our sprites folder, and once we add our sprites inside this folder, after that we also need to add those sprites inside this objects folder. So I will right click on the sprites folder, create sprite, and I'm not going to create the sprite inside this GameMaker. Instead I'm going to load my sprite. I'll go to the sprites and I will just click on it, design 10, and I will open this up. Okay, and I need to set its center point where I want to calculate its x-axis position and y-axis position, and I want to bring its center point. Right now it's 0 0 0 0 starts from top left corner. I need to bring that anchor point to the center. I need to click on the center. You can see that there is a plus sign with it. So that means that everything that I'll be calculating, whether it's x-axis position or y-axis position, will be calculated from the center point. If I increase the x-axis, it will be calculated from this center point. Okay, so we have loaded our sprite. Let's click OK. Okay, so we have sprite 0 added in our sprites folder. Okay, so let's right click on it and I'm gonna rename it. Let's double click it, instead write a name inside it, and I'm going to give it a logo. Okay, let's press OK. So now we have added a sprite inside our sprite folder. Now we need to right click over objects folder. Okay, let's create object. So it has a small area inside it that is showing me the sprite, and if I click on this icon, it's showing me all those sprites that are added inside this sprites folder. If I didn't add anything inside this sprites folder, I can't add objects. So first I need to add anything inside the sprites folder, and after that I can add objects in my objects folder. So I'll click on this logo and name the object logo as well. Okay, and I'll come back here after once I give you the overview how we can design overview. And so we have added a sprite. Let's click OK. Resource with this name already exists. Okay, let's double click it, and I'm going to give it let's keep it with the object 0. I'll come back to it and change it name after that. Let's click OK. So we have object 0 added inside it. Okay, so now I will open up my start page, and let's bring that up. Let's unlock this grid, and I'll go to my objects. All right, and inside the objects, if I come down and if I click on it, you can see that it's showing me there is an object inside my objects folder, and I need to click on it. Okay, and once I will select that particular object, I need to click anywhere on this scene. If I click right here, you can see that it has been added inside it, and I can drag this around to set its position. Okay, I can also do it with the programming, but right now this is just a logo. I need to give it a static constant fixed value. So I can set it's approximately this is the center, so that will look good. Let's bring it a bit more up. So that's it. So we have set our logo inside our room. Okay, so I need to click on this tick icon. We have set our start page. Now let's play this game. So you can see that we have our room, and inside our room we have logo that we added in objects folder. Now we have two buttons inside it. that is a start button and other is the exit button. There are other things that will move behind this logo. We have the clouds, we have small balloons coming from behind, and it's just like a small animation that I'll be doing later on. But first I want to show you the user interface. Let's right click on sprites, create sprite, and I will load the sprite. I will load the exit button and I need to load the start button. So it should be, this is the start. Let's press Control so that both, actually at one time I can only select one. So let's add a start. Okay, we have sprite 1. Let's click center. Actually it has been exit selected. So let's say we will add up later. So exit. So let's press center as well. I click OK. There are some built-in names inside it. GameMaker Studio, we can't rename anything with that name. So exit was that. So I'll give it a name, exit 1. Okay. So I'll click OK. You can see that exit 1 have been set as the name of this object. Now I will right click on the objects, create object. If I click on it, I have exit 1 sprite. Okay. So inside it, I can add exit underscore btn. Okay. So I will click OK. Make sure you select the exit 1 from here and click OK. Now I'll go to the start page and just scroll back, and let's unlock this grid, and I'll go to objects. If I click on it, you can see that we have exit button object shown. If I click on it and click on the room, you can see that there is an exit button. I can set its position. Let's set its position right here, because above that we have to add our start button. So this is the exit button. So that has been set. Let's click this tick icon and let's just load our start button. This is the start. Okay. So start 1. And always don't forget to click on the center, because we want to calculate the position from the center of it. It doesn't make any difference or create any problem if we are setting our object statically at a constant position. But if we want to move specific object, like we have balloons that we want to move in our game, in that case we really need to take care of its origin. Okay, because we want to change the position of object programmatically, so that needs to be set to center. Let's click OK. So we have start 1. Let's right click on object and create object out of that sprite that we have just added. So just click on it and we have a start 1, and we will name it start underscore btn, and I'll click OK. Let's go to start page and just scroll back. Let's bring it to center. Let's close the grid. Inside the objects tab, I will click on this icon and I will select the start button, and I will click anywhere inside it. You can see that I have this start button. I can drag it right here. Okay. So you can see that I have the exit and I have the start button added on my scene. Let's bring it a bit up. Let's bring it a bit up. Now we have set up our first start screen. There are some things that also need to be added. We have trees, we have something below this exit button. So I have already explained you how to add the sprites and objects and add that object in my room. And I'm just going to add those things inside it without explaining you those things. So let's do that. Let's click this tick icon. And I will right click on sprite, create sprite. Let's load sprite and let's bring up this thing. Okay, so open this up. Let's keep it to center. Okay, let's click on the objects, create object, and we have sprite 3, and I'm going to name it ground 1. Okay, let's double click start page and let's bring it back. unlock the grid. In the objects, click on this icon ground 1 and click on it. You can see that we have this ground. Okay, so that has been added. Okay, let's click on it and right click on it and click on delete. Okay, so that has been set up. We have the clouds behind these logo that needs to be animated to the left side, and that needs to be generated again and again, which I will do later on once I will show you how to write code inside GameMaker Studio. So that has been set up. Let's click this icon. Now before running this game, there will still be a problem. You can see that if let's close it, there is an exit object above this background image, these greenish area. Okay, but I want this GameMaker Studio to know that this greenish area should be behind this exit object. So I need to set the depth to my object that you need to be at the back of this button. Otherwise this exit button will be behind this greenish area. So I need to go click ground 1. I need to give its depth. As I give its depth, it's gonna go back. So I'll give it 50. I can give it any value to bring that object to the back of that exit button. So I'll click OK and I will save it. Okay, let's save this project and I will click on this play button. It's blinking, still blinking. I don't know why, but so there is a problem inside it. If you remember, if I go to the exit sprite and if I edit sprite, you can see that there are two objects because I selected two objects from their start and exit, and it's just shown up just exit. So I thought that if I have just selected the exit button, but I need to remove other thing from here. So I will just select this one. Okay, and I will go to the top menu and I will click this scissor icon. Okay, so that has gone. Now if I click on this icon, you can see that have been selected. So I'll click OK. So let's run it. Now it should be fine. So you can see that we have a start button, we have exit button, we have a logo, we have our greenish area behind this button, and there are other things that are also needed to be added. These are the clouds that needs to be the move from the right towards the left side. That I'll show you how to write code inside GameMaker Studio, then we will move that thing up. We also need to add small balloons coming out from these greenish tree area and going upward. So that will make a little bit more interesting inside the game. Now before proceeding further, I just want to organize these objects and sprites. So I will right click on sprite and I will create a group and I will name this group buttons. Click OK. And I will drag these two buttons. I will just drag this one into buttons and I will drag the exit into buttons folder. And same as I will do in the objects, right click on it, create group, and I will name buttons. Okay, and I need to drag start button into it and exit button into it, and I will save this project. And I just want to run this up to check if the buttons are at the correct position or not. So these are at the correct position. Now the next thing that I want to do is I want to add a click event on this start or a touch event on any mobile device or any touch device. When I will touch it, it should navigate to the next screen, and the next screen where I will add a new object, and that object will ask me to pop that balloon. I need to pop that balloon to navigate to my gameplay area, but that's we'll do later. First I need to add a click event on this start. So to add a click event, we need to create a room, because whenever we will click on it, we need to navigate to another room. So that's why we are going to create another room, and I'm going to go to settings and I will name this room pop room, and the width and height should be same because the same game would be running on any particular device. All the screens would be of the same size. So I will add 768 width, and height is 1024. This is the width and height. Okay, so now I will add a background, same as we did. So add a background have been added. Let's go to objects, and inside the objects let's add our ground. All right, so we have added our ground. We have to add another objects, and that object will be having a pop me written on it, but I haven't added in the sprites folder, so I can't add it directly from here because I need to add it in the sprites folder and the objects folder. Let's leave it as it is. I just want to show you the navigation for now. Okay, and once the navigation works, we will come back to this room and add those objects on it. So let's click on this arrow icon to save this room. Click on it. Now this is the button. Okay, if I double click on it, it's showing me two windows right here. One is the events window and other is the action window. And in the events window, I need to add different events. You can see that there is a button at the bottom. If I click on it, it has opened up a new window, and on that window I have different kinds of event that I can add. I can add a create event whenever this object is created, what we want to do. Whenever this object is destroyed, what we want to do. So all these events. Right now I want to add a mouse event, and the mouse event in GameMaker Studio is same as a touch event on any touch device. Okay, so when I click on it, it's showing me all the mouse event that I can use to work with. So right here I can add a left pressed event. The left event is the touch event on the screen device. Okay, so whether it's a left pressed, left button, left released. Okay, so I want to add an event left released. I don't want to navigate to next screen just by touching that button, start button, but whenever I want to leave or release that particular object, a start button, then I want that game to navigate to next screen. So I want to add this event left release. This event have been added, and on the right side I have the actions. Whenever I will select any particular event, it will show me all the actions that are belonging to this event. Okay, so right now I haven't added any actions. Whenever the left button is released, what are the actions that I want to perform? I want to navigate to the next room. Okay, so to navigate to the next room, you can see that there are different options. I can also add a script, but right now I just want to show you a built-in tools inside it. So if I click on this main one, I hope that you are looking on it, the second tab right here, and I have this rooms area. Okay, I can go back to the previous room, I can go forward to the next room, and I need to click on it and drag it right here. Okay, so you can see that this action have been applied to this event. Now I need to give it a new room, that which room I want to navigate to. So the start page contains the start button, so I don't want to navigate to the same room where I'm already in. I want to navigate to the pop room. Okay, so I'll click OK. So this action have been applied to this event. All right, so for now let's check it out if it's navigating to our next page or not. So I need to click on this. Okay, I'm saving this project and I will play this game. So I have just clicked on it, and whenever I will release it, I want this to navigate to our next page. Okay, so you can see that I have released my button. It has been navigated to my next screen. This is the pop room. So our click event is working fine. Now I need to design this room a bit, but before that I need to bring those sprites inside this room. So I will create a new sprite, load sprite, and inside it I want this one. Okay, and let's add pop balloons sprite. All right, let's click on the center to bring the origin to the center and click OK. Now let's create another one. load sprite, and this one. Okay, pop me sprite, and let's click center. Okay, so we have added our two objects inside sprite folder. Now we need to add those objects, those sprites, in our objects folder. So right click on it, create object, and I will click on it. You can see that we have a pop balloon sprite and a pop me sprite. Let's click on it, and I will click OK. Okay, let's double click it, and I want to rename it pop obj, pop me. Okay, so I need to click OK. I need to create another object, and this time pop balloon sprite, pop obj. All right, let's click OK. So now I need to go to my pop room, and let's cross this up, make it a bit larger. Let's bring it to the center, and I'm in the objects tab, and I will select pop me object, and I will click I'll click right here, and I will drag it here. Okay, so that has been added. Now I will select this pop object, just create right here and drag it right here. This is just for designing purpose. You can design it in your own way. I'm just designing it in a way, whenever I'll click on start button, it should navigate to this room, and whenever I will click on this pop me balloon, it will pop up, show the animation of popping up the balloons, and I will navigate to the gameplay screen. All right, so that has been added. Let's click on this tick icon, and I will save my project, and I will run this up to see if it's working fine or not. Okay, so that has been started. Let's click and release the start button, so you can see that we have been navigated to our pop underscore room screen. All right, so that's been done. Now next, what I want to do, I want to have some animations inside it. I'm not going to go my gameplay area right now, but there are some animations. The clouds should move from the right side to the left side. It should keep on generating inside it, and I have to add the small balloons coming out from these greenish area and going upward. Okay, so these are the animation I need to add in this room and in this room, and that will help you to understand how we can write scripts, how we can write controllers. So let's get started and create those animations. Now I want to add clouds behind this logo, and I want that clouds to have animations and movement towards the left side, and I want clouds to generate itself again and again from the right side and move towards left side. So in that case, I will add my controller, because anything that is not in the screen, but I want that thing to generate itself once we start our game, that needs to have controller. Okay, so first I will add a sprite of my cloud, and I will load a sprite, and this is the cloud, and I will open this up. Okay, so I will name it cloud. I will change the origin to center, and I'll click OK. Alright, so cloud has been added. Now I will right click on object, create object, and I will select that cloud, and I will change its name obj underscore cloud. Okay, so I'll click OK. So now if I right click or a simple left click on it, I can see that I have the cloud, and I have the start page open, and I can select obj cloud, and I can click on it, and I can just set it right here. Okay, let's make it a bit bigger. Alright, and I will click it, and I will play my game. There will be no animation for now, because I need to add few more things inside. You can see that we have clouds at the back side. Now I will just move this particular cloud towards left side. I'm not going to generate new clouds, but I just want to show you how we can navigate an animation to these clouds. So I'll open the start page. Let's close this up, and I will open this obj cloud object. All right, I need to add event, and if I click on it, I can see that I have create event. It means that whenever that particular object is created, what I want to do. So I will add a create event, and I will go to my control, and inside the control I have this particular file type of icon, and inside this file I can write my code, and that code will be following the JavaScript syntax. So I will drag this inside it. Okay, so whenever our object will be created, what I want this thing to do. So inside GameMaker Studio we have built in keywords that we can use for the animations, for the movement, for destroying object, for creating object. So for movement, horizontal movement, we have hspeed keyword. All right, and hspeed means that if we give it a negative value, our particular object where we are applying this event, in this case we have obj underscore cloud, whenever I will give it a negative value, it will move towards left side, and whenever I will give it a positive value, it will move towards right side. So I'm giving it -2 because I want my clouds to move so slowly towards left side. So I will take on it. Okay, so I'll click OK, and I'll save my project, and I will just see and check this out if it's working fine and moving towards left side or not. Okay, so you can see that we have clouds, it's moving towards left side with the speed of -2. But there is another thing. Whenever our cloud will be moving towards left side, whenever it will go out of screen, I want these clouds to be destroyed itself, because in our game, our processor, the RAM of our mobile phones, the desktop, we don't want these clouds to generate again and again and occupy the space inside the RAM. And whenever these clouds move out of screen, I want these clouds to be destroyed itself, because I don't want those clouds to occupy space. I just want those clouds which we can just see on our screen to have a space occupied inside the RAM. So I'll just open this up, and I will add another event. Okay, and in our case we have a step event. Step event we have, let's click on it, step event, and what step event will do, it will run 30 times a second. We don't need to do anything. It will run 30 times a second, and it will check that if the clouds have been gone. It depends on our code that what we want to do. So let's go to our control and bring the script inside it. So inside it, what I want to do, I want this step event to check if our clouds have been gone out of screen or not. Okay, so to do that, I can write if, and I can use X word or Y word. X stands for position, horizontal position. Okay, and Y stands for vertical position. So the horizontal movement can be identified with the X, and a vertical position can be identified with the Y. Okay, so I will add an event if X is less than -300. Okay, means if the X position of my cloud is less than -300, means that our cloud have gone out of screen towards left side. The width of my cloud is 400. I'm just testing this out and adding this out. 300 over origin is set to the center. So if I write -200, it will work even then, but I want this thing to be destroyed way out of screen. All right, so what I want to do, if it goes out of screen, means the X position is less than -300, then I want to destroy this event, and I can use another function built in GameMaker function, that is instance underscore destroy. Okay, it will be automatically applied to the object which we have just opened. We have opened obj underscore cloud. So this instant destroy will only be applied on this particular object. Okay, so we are done with our, this is a very good practice for the best performance of our game, because without destroying any object that is not in the screen, it will create a lot of problem in the performance of your game. So I'll just click on it. Now I need to generate clouds from the left side and from the right side and move towards the left side, and for that I need to add a controller. So first I will add a group, because I need to add a lot of controllers in my game. So I will just add a folder controllers, and inside this controller I need to add a controller for generating our clouds. Okay, so I will just right click on it and I will create object. So I will name this object, let's say that we have cloud creator. Okay, so how we can create a controller? Whenever we will not select any sprite from here, it will become a controller. So there is no sprite selected. So if I click OK, you can see that there is a white icon right here. It means that it doesn't belong to any particular sprite, but it can be applied to any object through script. Alright, so whenever we want to generate anything on runtime, whenever we want to play the game, then that needs to have a controller to generate that thing and for the actual movement of that object. Okay, so I will just open this up. Okay, so inside it I need to have a few objects. Okay, so few objects and a few events. If I click on the add events, you can see that I have a create event and what I want to do after the creation of this controller. Let's add a create event. Okay, so inside the control, let's drag this code, and inside it I want to use an array object inside GameMaker Studio that is called alarm. And alarm is an array. We can have more than one alarm, but for the cloud generator we can have just one alarm, and that can be identified with the 0th index. So I will give it a value 100. Okay, I'll explain you what does it mean. Just click on this tick icon. I will add another event, and that would be alarm, and I will select alarm 0 because I added alarm 0 and give it a value 100. So I need to add alarm 0, and I will add a script to it, and inside it I want to generate clouds for a particular event, particular number of times. Okay, and after specific time. So whenever I want to create, if I say alarm 0 equals to 200, 200 means if I divide 200 by 30, and that would become something like 6 point something. So let's say that it is 6. Okay, so 6 means 6 seconds. This alarm 0 equals to 200 means that this is going to be executed every 6 seconds. This script is going to execute every 6 seconds. Whenever a cloud will be created, this script will execute, and this will execute the alarm 0 script after about 3.3 seconds, because 100 divided by 30 is 3.3 approximately. So this script will call alarm 0, and inside the alarm 0 we have another script, and inside this script we are calling our own script after every 6 point something seconds. Okay, so we need to call it again and again for generating the clouds again and again from the right side. Okay, so I hope that you have got the idea. Now inside it, whenever this will call itself again and again, what I want to do after that, I want to create clouds from the right side, and we have already applied the movement in my cloud object. Okay, so for creating our instance, we have a built-in function inside GameMaker Studio, and that is called instance underscore create. Alright, And the first parameter, it contains three parameters. The first parameter is the x value, and the second parameter is the y value, and the third parameter that which object we want to create. So first of all, whenever this object will be created, what should be the starting x position of this object? Okay, so the starting of x position should be out of screen towards left side. Okay, so if I generate clouds on my screen, it will not create a good impact on our users who will play our game. I want this object, so I will call room width plus 200. Room width will identify the device where we are running our game, whether it's a desktop, whether it's a mobile, whether it's a mobile device or a tablet. Each device have different dimensions. So we need to call this function to identify the width of our screen at runtime, and I'm adding up 200 because I want this cloud object to generate out of screen towards right side. Okay, so now I need to add its y position. I want my clouds to generate not from the same y-axis position, but I want these clouds to generate randomly at different position. If I open the start page, let's just minimize it. Okay, we have this script. I want my clouds to generate from this position or from this position, from the upper position, but I don't want my clouds to go below this greenish area. Okay, so I need to apply a random function that identify a random position, y position yourself. Okay, so I click on it. Where it's gone? Let's open this up again. Controller, alarm, and this one. Okay, so it's showing me error. I need to give its y position, so I can call the random 150. So this function will generate numbers from 0 to 150 itself. Okay, and after that, let's add a constant value to it. So we have set our x position and y position, and the third parameter is which object we want to generate. We want to generate obj underscore cloud. So obj underscore cloud. All right, so obj underscore cloud, whenever this function will create that particular object, and inside that object I have already added animations. Okay, whenever this object will be created, this script will be executed and it will have h speed that is -2. Okay, so that has already been executed. Okay, so let's save all these scripts. All right, so now the last thing that we need to do right here, in order that controller, how does that controller, that in which page, in which room I need to create cloud. All right, we also need to tell this GameMaker Studio that this is the room in which you should create new clouds. Okay, so I will open up the start page. All right, and if I just click on it, you can see that I have a controllers folder, and inside it I have this cloud underscore creator. All right, if I click on it, and I need to click anywhere inside the screen. Okay, so if I click right here, you can see that there is a small icon, a question mark icon, and if I hover my cursor on it, you can see that right here it will show me the name of that particular object. So it's showing me cloud underscore creator. So this controller have been added inside this room. It means that this controller now knows that it should create new clouds, new objects. It should apply all these events, execute all these events inside that particular room. Okay, so I will just save this one. So I will run this up, and you can see that it is moving. Now our new clouds should be generated from the right side. So you can see that our clouds are generating from the right side, and it will keep on generating every 6 seconds, because I'm calling alarm 0 array every 200 times. 200 means 200 divided by 30, and the value becomes seconds. Okay, so our clouds are moving perfectly. Now we need to add the animation on the back balloons, which I will just do it in a hurry, because you have got the idea how you can add animations in different objects. Okay, so I need to add few more balloons inside it for their animation coming out from this greenish area and going upward, to make this game a kind of more attractive. If I click on it, you can see that there is no cloud inside it because I haven't added my controller inside it. If I want to generate clouds inside it, how can I do it? Just do that. So pop room, open the pop room and just make it a little bit bigger. At start I will add a cloud. Okay, so I have added this cloud. Alright, and if I want to generate my clouds again and again, what I need to do? I just need to add a controller, and the controller will already know that I need to create clouds in this room as well. So I will just go to controller, cloud controller, and I will click right here. So this controller have been added inside this room as well. Alright, so and this object already know that I need to execute these script. Alright, so let's save this up and I will play this one. And if I click on start, you can see that the clouds are moving inside it, and I want new clouds to be generated from the right side. So you can see that what is the benefit of creating controllers. These objects are generating at runtime. So anything that has to be generated at runtime should have a controller. Alright, so these will executing, and whenever it will go outside of the screen, I have added a step event inside the cloud object that you need to destroy yourself. I don't want those objects to occupy space in the RAM if you go out of the screen. Okay, this is the step event, and if you go out, instance underscore destroy. So we are done with it. Now let's add a few more back balloons objects, the smaller balloons, and that should come out of this greenish area. So that will be the last step of this design of this room, and after that I will come back to my gameplay area, gameplay room. Now I'll right click on sprite, create sprite, and I will create all those 3-4 sprites that needs to be generated as a smaller object. So I will load sprite, and I need to find sprite 18, this one. Alright, so leave it. Let's add the center, create another load sprite, and I will add sprite 20, center, (22), and I'm going to add the last one, and that would be, let's add this one. Okay, so I think these are pretty much fine. I need to generate these 4 sprites, so I'll click OK. But first I will create a group, and I will change its name to back balloons, and I'll click OK. So I will just drag all these sprites inside this folder. Alright, so now I need to create objects out of all these sprites. So I'm going to just right click and create back balloons sprite. Alright, so now I need to give it names. I'll give it B1. So click OK. Create another. Actually this is not, let's delete it. Let's first create a folder, back balloons. Click OK, and I will drag B1 inside this. Alright, so I will right click back balloons, and I will create object, and I will back balloon sprite 8 and I will name it B2. Okay, so same as for other two, B3. Okay, create, and B4. All right, so we have created all these objects of all these sprites. Now we need to add animations and add the controller so that these objects may generate from that downside. Okay, so first what I need to do, I need to add an animation to it, and then I will generate other balloons from the bottom. All right, so first I'll open B1 and I will add an event. When it will create, let's go to control, drag the script, then I want it to move towards upside, and I can control it with the V speed, that stands for vertical speed, and I will give it -1. -1 means move towards upside, and positive value given to the V speed means move object towards downside. All right, same as we did in cloud, we gave horizontal speed and we gave -2 as a value to that variable. Okay, again I will click on it and I will add a step event. Step event runs 30 times a second. All right, so I need to check if that particular object go y is less than, let's say, -50. all right, then this should destroy, instance underscore destroy. All right, whenever our particular object B1 will go out of screen, means go up, then this particular instance will be destroyed, and this function will be applied to that object that is being opened. Okay, so I will just click on this one. Actually I'm going to delete B1 to B2 to B4 because I will duplicate B1 because I have added few events and actions. I don't want to add all these things again and again for others, so I will just right click B2 and delete this one, right click B3, delete this one as well, delete this one as well. All right, and I'm going to right click B1 and I'm going to duplicate it, and I'm going to change its name B2, and I'm going to select the sprite 8. Okay, so all these events and actions will be already applied to the other objects. So I'll click OK. You can see that it has been applied. So I'll right click B2, duplicate, and I just need to change the object sprite 8 and I'll change its name to B3. The last one, let's duplicate this one and select sprite 10 and B4. all right, so I have added a code inside it. Now let's first add a default balloons inside it. Let's add right here, let's add B2. Okay, drag it right here, let's select B3 and I'm going to right here. Okay, and the last one is B4. I'm not clicking directly inside it because there is a problem, because in my bottom image, this is the ground image, the tree greenish area that is covering the whole area of screen. So if I click on it, it's gonna select that particular object, that particular greenish area. Okay, so let's try to do it. If I click on it, you can see that that object have not been added because it has selected the, if I click on it, it has selected the bottom area because it covers a lot of area of screen. So that's why I was creating that particular object outside the screen and then I was dragging it inside. So I need to select B4 and now I'm going to draw it outside and then I will drag it back right here. Okay, so we have added all 4 objects. These objects will move upward, but the new objects will not be created yet. I need to create a controller for creating those objects, 4 objects randomly, and their movement will be automatically applied to it, because the movement is applied on individual particular object. So I'll click on this tick icon and I'll save my project, and I will run this game to see if those objects moving upward or not. So you can see that those objects are moving upward, and the clouds are also generating. Now I need to add a controller to generate these objects again and again from the bottom, and it will automatically move towards up. Okay, so movement is applied on that particular object. We don't need to control the movement, we just need to add a controller for the creation of objects. Okay, so now let's add a controller. Open the objects folder, and inside the controllers folder I'm going to create object without selecting any sprite, and I'm going to name it back balloons controller. Alright, so inside it I need to add a create event, and inside the create event let's go to control tab, and I will drag the code right here, and I will first call my first alarm event. Okay, inside the create event I'm going to call the alarm 0. So alarm 0th index, and I'm going to call it after 1 second. Okay, 30 divided by 30 is 1, so I'm calling alarm 130, but there is no alarm 0 inside this event. I need to create alarm 0 as well. Alright, so I will click on it and I will create alarm 0, and I will drag the code inside it, and I need to call this alarm 0 script again and again, because I want to generate those 4 objects from the bottom again and again. So after how much time I want to create those particular objects? Let's say I want to create individual object after about 5 seconds. So what divided by 30 becomes 5? It's 150. So alarm 0 equals to 150. So it's gonna call itself after every 5 seconds. Okay, because 150 divided by 30 is 5. Now I need to add a random function to find out that which object has to be created first. So our GameMaker script, this script will automatically identify that which object should generate and which object should generate afterwards. So I'm going to call a random function inside it. Okay, so let's add a global keyword, which balloon, and floor random 4. Alright, because we have 4 objects. What it's gonna do, it's going to generate number from 1 to 4. Alright, and when I will have 1, I will generate B1. When I will have 2, I will generate B2. So with this variable I will identify that which object should I create. Alright, and the global before a variable name means that this variable can be used in the scripts of other objects. Alright, if I don't write global inside it, I need to write var before it, and this particular variable can only be used inside this script. It can't be used outside this script, even in other events scripts or in other objects scripts. So I need to add global keyword because I want to use this particular variable in other scripts as well. Okay, so global dot x position equals to random 600 plus, let's say, 84. Okay, so what it's doing, I want my objects to generate not at the same x position. All right, I want my object to be generated let's say that from left side, from the middle of screen, from the right of the screen. So that's why I have applied a random to 600 because the width of my screen is 768, and I have added 84 into it as well, so it's not going out of my screen. So this variable will contain let's add global. All right, so now I need to identify that this function have generated which number. Okay, so I can add if global dot which balloon, if it's generate 0, all right, then I want to add instance underscore create, all right, and I need to give it x position, and x position is being identified with this variable, so I can simply give it x underscore POSS. I have added double s because x underscore POS is a built-in keyword, so I can't use this one. So now I need to give the height. First I can detect the height with the help of room underscore height to find out the height of device in which we are running this game, and after that I am dividing it by 300. Okay, so which object I want to create? I want to create B1 when which balloon will have 0 as a value inside this variable. So let's end this if block. All right, so I'm going to copy this one and paste it again, and I'm going to add else before it. All right, and I'm going to check if it's 1, 2, 3. All right, and when it's 1, I want to generate B2, B3, and B4. All right, so every time this particular variable will identify that which object has to be generated. All right, so that's been done. Now I need to add this particular controller inside my screen. So let's open it up and save this up. This is the script, and I'll click OK. So this is the controller. All right, now I'm opening the start page, and from here I'm going to select that controller, and I'm going to add that controller inside my room. So you can see that I have added this controller inside my room. So because I want to tell GameMaker that you need to use this controller to generate the back objects on this room. All right, whatever we write in our script, that will be applied to this room as well. Okay, so let's open it up. I'm going to save my project and let's run it. So you can see that these objects are being generated. It has been generated, it has been generated as well. All right, but the problem is that these objects are generating above this greenish area. I want these objects to be generated behind these greenish area, so I need to add depth inside it. Okay, so let's open this up, and I will add 100 to it. Open this up, add 100 to it as well, to B3 and to B4 as well. So I'll save this now. Okay, I have added 100 because it should be greater value than the object where we want to hide this one. Ground object have 50, so I needed to add a greater value than the depth of this ground one. Okay, so I will run this now. So you can see that these are coming behind this greenish area because I have added depth to these object. All right, so these objects. Now let's add controller to our pop room as well, because I want these balloons to come out from back balloons controller. Let's add the controller to this one. Okay, so let's save my project. I'm going to run this again, and let's click start, and I want those objects to be generated on this room as well. So let's see if these generates or not. So you can see that these objects are generating. from the bottom and going towards upside. All right, and when these will go at the top and will go out of screen, these objects will be destroyed. All right, so I hope that you have got the idea. There is nothing more from now, but when I will click on it, it will add an animation that it will generate, and it will look like that balloon have been popped up. And when I'll click on it, we will navigate to our gameplay area where we will have to pop the balloons, and that will be the actual task of this particular tutorial. And then there will be more things to add up, like scores and game pause and resume. So let's go and create a new room for our gameplay area. Now when I will click or press on this balloon that is showing me pop me, it should show some animations, and that should really feel that there was an animation and balloon is really being popped up. All right, and at the last, and it should navigate me to the next playing area. Okay, next room gameplay area. So let's click on it. You can see that there was an animation and we are navigated to our next screen. This is the gameplay area that we are going to make right now, but first we need to add an animation on that pop me balloon, and then let's do it. Okay, so let's go, and if I open this pop underscore me underscore sprite and click on edit sprite, you can see that there is only one image. We can have more than one images inside one sprite or inside one object. All right, and those images will show up the animation. So in order to add other images, I'll go to file and I will add from file. All right, and I will add all these images. We have this one, add from file. Let's add these three as well. Okay, so we have 7 images inside this one object. All right, so I'll click on this icon and click OK. If I play this game, you will see that there will be an animation, but it will just keep on playing. Okay, we need to stop it at the first index, and when we will click on it, it should show the animation, and when the animation is complete, we should navigate to our next playing area. All right, so now let's go and do that. Let's open this object, and I will add a new gaming. Let's go. So which event should I create right now? When that object will be created, I want to stop the animation, and while stopping the animation, I want to show the first image of that object, and the first image is the pop me image. Okay, so I'll create it and I'll go to control and I will drag this script right here, and inside it I will write image underscore index equals to 0. This is the built-in reserve word that is used to specify the index of image when that object will be created, because I have added this script under the create event, so it will execute when that object will be created. So image index will be 0 at start. The first index of that image will be shown up, and after that I need to stop that animation without clicking on it. So image underscore speed equals to 0. All right, so at start, let's click on it, let's click OK, and when I'll run this game, you can see that there will be no animation, and we'll see the first image of that object. No image and the first image. Now we need to add a click event on it. It should show up the animation, and we will navigate to our next room. Okay, so I'll open this up again, and I will add another event, add event, and I will add step event. So step event will execute all the actions against it. So I will add an action that is our script, and step will execute this script 30 times in a second. All right, so what I need to do, I need to let our GameMaker Studio know that when the animation starts and the index of image goes to the 6th index, means we are reached to the last image of this particular object. then navigate to our next room. Okay, so I need to check if image index equals to 6, because we have 7 images, so the last image is at the 6th index. All right, and I need to go to the room, go to play. Play is the name of room that I just created. If I show you, if you haven't created it, make sure you create it and just open this up. There is nothing in this room. I haven't added any object, and in the settings I just set the name and the width and height of this room. All right, and I'm gonna click on this icon to save it. Okay, so let's close this one. Okay, but when this image index will reach to 6, we have already set the speed of animation, speed of images to 0. It will not reach to the 6th when we want to start the animation, when we will click on that object. All right, so I'll go to the mouse and I will add a left released event, not a click event, but the left released means when we press that particular balloon, the pop me balloon, and when we will release it, that start the animation, and when the animation will be started, this will execute and it will detect if we are reached to the 6th index, then we will navigate to our next room. All right, so let's click on left released and drag a script in the actions window. All right, inside it I need to set the image speed. All right, so image speed equals to 0.5. all right, when we will release that particular cursor, then the image will start its animation. So I'll click OK. I'm gonna save this project and I will run this game. So just keep an eye on this balloon. When I will release this button, there should be an animation and we will navigate to our next screen. All right, so I'm going to release it. You can see that there was an animation. We are navigated to our next screen. But one thing that I want to add on that object, and that is our sound. So let's right click on the sound, create sound, and I'm going to bring that sound, assets, sound, and there is a burst sound. I'll open this up. I will click OK, and now I need to come right here, and when I will click on it, I want to add a sound right here. All right, in order to add the sound, I need to go to the main one, and this is the sound. I will drag this right here, and inside it I need to give it the name of sound that we added in our sound 0 folder, and I need to give whether I want to keep on playing that sound or not. I want to stop it once if we listen the sound. Okay, so I'll click OK. So OK, and when I will play this game, there will be sound when I'll release my cursor or when I will release my finger from that touch screen. I'll click OK, and when I will release it, you can see that there was a sound. So that's been done. Now we need to design this interface. There will be buttons for pausing the game, for going to the main menu, there will be scores, there will be balloons. So this is the actual part of game that we are just going to start. But before that, I want to open the sound 0 again, and there were the volume was too loud. I want to decrease the volume, so just bring this back to the number 3. all right, it will be okay. So you can add other settings, but I will carry on with the default settings of this sound. Now I have opened this playroom, and I'm going to design this room first. all right, with the objects that I have already added in my objects folder. So just click on it, and I want the ground, so add the ground right here. all right, let's unlock this grid. all right, and I want the background as well, so let's add the background. Let's go to objects again, and other thing I want to add is I want to have a cloud creator controller, and I want to have a back balloons controller as well. Alright, because I want the back balloons coming out from this greenish area and I want the clouds move towards left side. Let's add one cloud right here as well. Alright, when game starts, these clouds should be moving towards left side. Alright, so these were the objects that were already added. We also need to add few other things right here. So let's go and add those sprites. I'm going to right click on it, create sprite, and I'm going to load sprite. First of all, I need to add a roof. I created this roof because I wanted to add put the ads at the top when the game runs. You might also want to add those things, so I'll just center this up, click OK, and I will go and I need to create, just double click on it and I will change its name roof SPRIT. Okay, and I'm going to create an object of it. So roof and roof underscore obj. Alright, so let's keep it to 0 and I'm going to click on it and you can see that there is an object roof. So just click on it and add a roof right here. Alright, and so now let's go and run this game and check this out if we see this UI or not. Alright, it's taking some time. Alright, so game has been started. Let's click on start. Let's click on pop me. And you can see that these are the clouds and there should be balloons coming out from behind this greenish area. But you can see that the clouds are at the top of that roof. We want the clouds to be at behind this roof. So let's go to the cloud and I'm going to give it a depth. So let's add a depth of 40. Okay, and I'm going to save this project. And once it's saved, I'm going to click on play to see if you can see that the clouds are already behind this roof because I added the depth of 40. So let's start, click on the pop. You can see that the cloud is now behind this roof. Alright, before creating the balloons at 3 vertical columns, I need to first bring all those balloons and the star, and there is a pause button as well, there is a stop button as well. So let's bring up all those sprites in my sprites folder. Alright, so let's close this first and I'm going to right click on the sprite folder and create a group first. So I'm going to name this folder balloons. Alright, so I'm going to right click create and load sprite. First of all, let's add a blue balloon. Select all the images of blue by pressing Ctrl and click on each of this image. Alright, these are the 7 images. So let's open this up. Let's click on center. If I go and edit sprite, you can see that all the images have been added inside this particular sprite. I'm going to change its name to blue underscore balloon and click OK. Alright, and I'm going to right click on it and I'm going to click on the create sprite again to bring up other as well. Let's bring up green. So select all these images, OK, center, and change its name to green underscore balloon. Alright, so I'm just going to take other balloons. So let's click all these things, open, center, and I'm going to change its name purple balloon. Click OK. We have red and yellow left. So this is the red. Click OK. Click on center, red underscore balloon. Create sprite, change its name, yellow underscore balloon, and load sprite. Yellow is this one. All right, click on center and click OK. So we have imported all these balloons inside our sprites folder. We created our balloons group as well. So now let's bring up the coin as well. So I'm going to change coin sprite, load sprite, and this is the coin. Let's add the center. So we have added our balloons and the coin as well. Now we need to create the objects out of all these balloons, actually we need to add two more things. Load sprite, we need to add this menu. So menu sprite, let's click on center, right click and create again, and we have another one that is the pause sprite. This is the pause one. Click on center and pause sprite. All right, so let's go and create the objects out of all these balloons, the sprites. So now I'm gonna create a folder here as well. So right click, create folder, and I'm going to name it balloons again right here. All right, so now we need to right click on this folder, create object, click on this icon balloons, and we have blue balloon, and I'm gonna change its name to blue. All right, so let's take this one back, and I'm going to change its depth to 30. All right, and I'll click OK. But before bringing up all these balloons, I want to duplicate this other balloons with this blue balloon. So what should I add inside this balloon so that all these other balloons may contain all those properties of this blue balloon? All right, so first of all, what I will do is I'll open this up and I will first create an event. All right, and inside this event I will drag a script. Okay, and inside this script I need to add few lines of code. I need to add it an image speed. All right, and image speed equals to 0. Okay, and we have image underscore index equals to 0. All right, we don't want any animation on the image unless we click on it or press on any particular balloon, and we want the index to be shown as the 0th index at start before clicking or pressing on any particular balloon. So let's click the arrow button. Next thing that we want to add an event is our step event. So let's add our step event, step, and I'm going to bring up a script, and inside this script I'm going to write a code. So first of all, let's add our vertical speed, and that has to contain a variable, because with the time as we keep on playing the game, we need to increase the speed of balloons. So I need to give this variable vertical speed a variable. So I will give global dot speeds. I'm giving this a variable a global keyword with it because I want to use this variable in other scripts as well and in other objects scripts as well. So that's why I have given a global keyword before it. So next thing that I want to do is when our actually let's leave it as it is. Okay, for now we are going to create the controller for creating the balloons, and after that I'll come back here and I will add up more code inside it. Okay, so let's click on it, and I need to add another left release event as well, but I'm not creating the balloons right now, so let's leave it as it is for now. Let's click OK. All right, And now I'm going to duplicate this blue one. So let's duplicate it, click on it, balloons, green, and I'm going to change its name green, and depth is 30. Let's duplicate it again for the other balloon. So let's add the balloon. We have the purple, and I'm going to select this one, purple, depth again, balloon, duplicate, blue, duplicate, and we have red, and change its name to red. And the last one is our yellow balloon that is going to have a yellow as its name. So we have added all these objects out of those sprites and added few lines of code inside it as well. Let's create the objects for the other objects as well, like we have a menu sprite, pause sprite, and the coin as well. So right click on the object, create object, click on it, and we have our menu. So menu underscore obj. All right, so click OK, and we have added our object. I'm going to right click on objects again, and I'm going to click on it, pause. So I'm going to name it pause obj. All right, click OK, and the last one object that I want to add is the coin object. All right, so I'm going to name it coin underscore obj. Click OK. All right, so before creating the controller for creating the balloons, let's add the remaining objects that are required right here. So let's add our menu. All right, let's keep the menu right here, and we have our pause. All right, add the pause button right here. Okay, so we are done with the static layout that will always be there. In runtime, we are going to generate balloons, we are going to generate the score, local score, and we are going to generate the balloons right here as well, the number of balloons that have gone down and the lives in order to navigate to our end screen. So now let's go and create our controllers. So just giving you an idea that what we need to do in this part. So let me go to the play screen and just analyze that when after every 10 balloons there will be star coming aside with every balloon. All right, so we need to take care of the position of star so that it may not overlay other balloon, and balloon should come in 3 columns, and we also need to calculate the width of screen, and based on the width of screen we also need to calculate that where balloon should come. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm going to create a controller for creating these balloons. We have already included these balloons in my objects folder. So inside the controllers folder, I'm going to right click, create object, and I'm going to name it create controller. All right, I'm not going to select anything inside it right now because I want to create it a controller. Okay, so inside it I need to have about 3 events. First one is the create event, in which I'm going to initialize some global variables to detect the speed of balloons, the scores of our game, and the remaining lives. So let's go to control and drag the script inside the actions window, and inside it I need to add a global variable called global.isCreate to detect if the balloon have been created or not. Okay, and after that I need to create 2 alarm events inside my event window. One alarm event is to create the balloons and star at appropriate position, and other alarm will be used to create and detect that how many lives are left. Okay, so alarm 0 equals to, and I'm going to call it after 13 divided by 30 seconds. All right, so that's why I've set it 13. So alarm 1 equals to, and these are the values that I have calculated. Make sure you write the values exactly like this. You can also change this value if you want to change the speed or creating your own game, but make sure that it will call the alarm 1 after 1.56 divided by 30 seconds. Okay, so we are done with our create script. Now click on this icon and I'm gonna add alarm 0, and inside it I'm going to create a script, and this is the script there where I'm gonna write a bunch of code. All right, so let's write that code. I need to write an algorithm for detecting the width of screen and create the coins and balloon at a specific position. All right, so first of all I need to call this script again and again so that every time the balloon may generate from the top. So I'm going to call alarm 0 equals to, and I'm going to create a global variable, global dot create. All right, and inside it global dot position equals to, and I'm going to use a random function called let's add floor, and inside it I'm going to call a random function, and I need to get a value from 0 to 3. All right, to detect the position. If it's 0, it's on the left side. If it's 1, it's on the middle. I want to generate balloons at the middle column, and if it's 2, it's on the right side. Okay, so global dot b underscore color equals to floor, and I'm going to call a random function again, and I'm going to give it value 5. All right, and this is to detect whether which balloon we want to generate at what position. All right, we have 5 balloons, blue, red, green, yellow and purple, and this variable will detect that which balloon we want to generate. All right, and after that I'm going to create a variable, and that's going to have -1. Okay, this variable is used, we are detecting the x position of this balloon so that that balloon may come at the proper position. And right now I need to add few if condition based on the position variable that we have just generated. So I'm going to use global dot position equals to 0, and inside this if condition I need to write an algorithm to find out that if we are at the left side of the screen or not. So for that I can write x equals to room underscore width, and to bring the balloons towards the left side I can divide it by 3. All right, and it will come towards the left side, but I want to this balloon towards the left border of our screen. So for that I need to divide it by 2 again to bring it to the left border. All right, and after that I need to use a coin position 1 equals to floor random 2. All right, and the coin position is that whenever I want to, if the balloon is generated at the left position, then I don't want the coin to come and overlay that particular position and overlay that balloon. Instead I'm using the other position to generate the coin. If the balloon is at the left side, then I'm going to generate the coin at the right side, because 2 is specifying that we are on the right side. All right, so this is how I'm detecting the coin to not to overlay the balloon. And inside this if I need to add 2 more if else conditions to check if we have picked up coin and we have generated coin or not. So coin underscore position 1 equals to 0, and global dot is create equals to true. All right, and inside this if condition I need to create a coin. Right now I'm just detecting that the position should be 0 and is create should be true, means our this is the time that we need to create our coin. So I need to call instance underscore create room width divided by 2, and it should start generating from the top of screen. All right, and I will go back -200 so that it may not look like that it has just generated on the screen. Instead it should generate above the screen, and after that it should come down. All right, and what I want to create, I want to create a coin. So here is the coin underscore obj. So I will write coin underscore obj. Okay, and after that I will make the is create dot false, so that we should know that coin have been created, and we are not going to create another coin once this whole script is gonna run again. Okay, so else if I'm going to check if coin position 1 is 1 and global dot is create equals to true. All right, and inside this else if condition I'm checking that if our coin is at the first position and is create is true, then we need to create our coin on the right side of our screen. All right, so I'm going to copy this one, these two lines, and I'm going to paste it below here. I just need to change the position right here, and that would be to bring the coin towards the right side. I can write room underscore width divided by 2 plus room underscore width divided by 3. All right, this will generate the coin towards the right side. All right, so this whole code was for when our balloon is on the left side. Now we need to write two more if conditions, else if conditions for the balloon at the center and for the balloon on the right side. You can organize and correct this code if you want to decrease the lines of code, but this is how I decided to write the logic for it. You can write your own logic as well. Okay, so after that I'm going to write else if, and I'm going to detect if global dot position equals to 1, and inside it let's copy this whole code. I'm going to modify this code inside it. Okay, so in the X position I'm going to write room width divided by 2 because I want this to come at the center, so it will come at the center. And after that let's add another variable, and inside it I'm not going to use coin underscore position 1. Instead I'm going to replace 1 with 2. Okay, and floor random 2, same for the coins, and inside it I'm going to give it a position for the coin. So I will use coin underscore position 2, and after that I will check if is create is true. All right, and inside this instance create I need to change the logic. So for changing the logic I need to bring it to the towards the left side or the right side, because if the balloon is at the center then we need to generate coin towards the left side or towards the right side. So room width divided by 3 divided by 2. All right, it will bring the coin towards the left side. Okay, so after that in the else if condition let's change the variable name to 2, and if it's 1 and global dot is create is equals to true, then we are going to create our coin towards the right side, and it's going to be the same as we did up here. All right, so we are done with this condition. Let's end this else if. So I think that this is the closing bracket of it. This one is for it, so that's good. Okay, and the last one is if the balloon is on the right side, we need to write a logic for creating the coin. All right, so the last one will be the else if the global position is 2. All right, so I'm going to copy this whole code and paste it right here. Okay, and inside it I need to calculate all the positions again. So let's find out room width. I'm going to copy this whole code. All right, and I'm going to paste it right here. All right, this is to detect that the balloon position is on the right side, and we need to generate coin whether on the center or on the left side. All right, so that's why we have added the coin random position. It will be detected. It will detect that if the coin position will be on the left side or on the center. Okay, so let's change the variable name first, all the variables, and inside this if condition I'm going to write if coin underscore position 3 equal to 0 and global dot is create equals to true, then instance create, and the y will be the same and the coin obj will be same, and I just need to change the x axis right here. So it is saying that coin will generate on the left side. That's true because balloon is on the right side, so we are generating coin on the whether on the left side. And if the coin position 3 is not 0, means it's 1, then we are going to generate the coin at the center. So I'm not going to write anything right here. Instead I'm just going to write room underscore width divided by 2. So it's going to generate coin at the center of our screen. All right, so this is bunch of code. Right now I'm just writing code for generating the coin while detecting the position of balloon. All right, so after that I need to generate balloons, and I don't need to write a lot of logic for it because I already have x position variable right here in order to detect that where to generate the balloon in our screen. So I will use this variable to detect that which balloon have to be generated. So I will use global dot b underscore color, this one. If it's equal to 0, then I'm going to instance underscore create, and inside it I will generate a new balloon at x underscore position minus 200 and red. All right, so just copy this code and write it below. If the I'm going to press enter multiple times. All right, I'm going to copy this one again and paste it below. We have 4 if conditions, and I also need to add another if right here. Okay, if the b color is 1, then we need to generate, let's say, blue color. Let's change the name of all these objects first: red, blue, green, and we have purple, and last one is yellow. All right, we don't need the last if. So let's change these things. If it's 3, if it's 4. All right, so when it's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, then generate different balloon at this position, and this position is being calculated inside each else and if condition. All right, make sure you don't do any mistake and just pause the video and match your code just like I have done right here. All right, so I'm going to click on this icon and I need to create another alarm one, and inside it I'm not going to write a bunch of code, but I need to write 2-3 lines inside it. So alarm, I need to call alarm 1 itself, and I need to use a global dot create underscore coin. All right, and global dot is create equals to true. All right, so this variable will be used in alarm 0 because it's global. It can be used in other scripts as well. All right, and create coin means that we need to create coin now. Okay, so if I go back to alarm 0, and you can see that we must have the isCreate variable. This is where we are detecting that we need to create our coin or not. All right, so let's click on it and click OK. Let's add 20 on it. All right, no, this is a controller. I don't need to add a depth on it. Instead, I need to add depth on actual objects. So click OK. Now I need to create another controller to detect the speed of balloons. All right, so I'm going to create a controller and I'm going to name it speed underscore controller. And inside this, I need to have a few more events, and these events would be like we need to add few variables inside it. So let's add a create event, and inside the controller let's drag a script, and inside this script I will add global dot speeds equals to 15, global dot create equals to 18, and global dot create underscore coin equals to 180. These are the variables. I have already calculated these, that when we want to generate our balloons and what should be the speed at start of the balloon. Okay, so let's save it. And another event that we want to have right here is the step event, and inside the step event we are going to keep on increasing the speed of balloon, but I'm not going to do right now because I want to test my balloons are actually generating at the proper positions and they are moving downside. Okay, but before that, let's come back to our actual balloons. Okay, if I double click on any of these balloons, all right, and inside it we have two events. All right, the first event is the create event, and inside it I have added image speed equals to 0 and image index underscore index equals to 0. All right, and inside the step event I have another script, and inside it I have set the vertical speed of this balloon equals to global dot speeds, and this speeds variable I have set inside the this obj speed underscore controller. All right, I need to just open this up. So this is the speed variable. Just click it and click OK to reflect the name change right here. All right, so right now I need to test this one. All right, I'll click OK. Let's save this project and I'll click on the play screen, and inside it I need to add those controllers. So I'll click on it, click controller, and I will select create controller. Okay, and then I just need to click anywhere right here. Okay, so this controller have been added for this particular view, and I also need to select my speed controller, and let's add the speed controller right here as well. All right, so our controller have been added. I need to click on this icon. There are instances of other tiles outside the room. Should I remove them? You can switch. Okay, let's open this up. The error was that I need to bring these objects in my view. All right, so let's bring all these objects in my view. Okay, so now let's click on it. Now it's being saved. So let's save the project, and I'm going to run this file. I hope that it should work. If not, there must be some error variables. So let's click on start, and I'm going to click on pop me. Okay, click on it. There is a blue balloon, yellow, purple, green, yellow, purple. All right, so our code is working fine, I think. All right, the coin is not coming, so we need to check out that what's the problem with the coin. The problem is that coin is generating at the top, but we haven't added vertical speed for coin inside our coin object. If you look at this coin object right here, open this up, there is nothing inside it. It has no vertical speed. We also need to add a vertical speed to it so that we may have a movement of coin. So let's first close this one, and I'm going to create event, and inside the control let's add image speed first equals to 0.5. all right, let's save it, and I need to have another event that is a step event, and I'm going to drag a script inside my script window. all right, and inside it I'm going to add a v speed to it, v speed, and I'm going to add a same speed as it has for balloons. all right, and after that I need to destroy this particular instance, the star, when it goes out of screen. So it's moving towards downside, so I need to detect its y position. If y is greater than room underscore height plus 200, then instance underscore destroy. all right, we also need to add this condition for these balloons as well. So let's copy this code. Okay, this one. If I go to blue, this is the create, and inside the step I need to have that copied. So okay, we have a red inside the step. Let's paste that code inside every position, every script of every object. Okay, so this is the green one because I want all the objects to destroy itself once it goes out of screen. all right, so I think I need to change the value. This is right now 200. So before that I just need to check that out. So let's save this project and play it. all right, so our game has been started. Now we need to click on start and pop me. Now the star should come at the proper position but not overlaying the balloons. Okay, so star has come and we have the balloons, and we are not looking it's being destroyed, but all these objects are getting destroyed when these are going out of screen. I also need to add that code in my purple that I haven't added yet. Okay, so I haven't added any click event right now on any of these balloons, but our game have been started working without giving control to users. That is a missing part. So first let's go to purple step and paste it right here as well. all right, so now what we need to do, we need to add a click event on these balloons, and we need to pop these balloons. So let's go and do that. So let's open up the coin underscore object first, and I just need to add an event inside it that is our left pressed event, and inside it let's bring up the script, and inside it I just need to destroy this one. Okay, destroy. all right, I also need to add sound inside it, but I'm not going to do it now. So now we also need to destroy the other balloons when we will press the balloons, but with that we also need to start the animations of those balloons. So I'll click OK, and I will open up the blue balloon, and inside the step let's first add a click event. Left pressed, control and drag the script, and inside this script I need to increase the speed of image. So image underscore speed, earlier I set the speed of image to 0. all right, but now when I will press that particular balloon, right now we have a blue balloon opened, so we need to give it some value, and all the images inside this object blue balloon will start animating. all right, with this value. all right, so I have set this value, and inside the step open up the script, and inside it I need to detect if we are reached to the last index of all the images in this particular object. all right, and if we reached, we have 7 images inside each balloon object, so we can check if image index equals to 5, then we can destroy this balloon. Alright, so I'm going to copy this code and paste it in every step event of my balloons. Okay, so let's save it in green, save it, save it as well, and the last one is the purple. Alright, let's save it and click on it. But there is another thing that I want to add is the left click event. I didn't add the left click event on all these balloons except this blue one. So I also need to add event, mouse left pressed, and go to control, drag the script, and inside this script I just need to start the image speed equals to 0.5. Alright, let's copy this one. And let me check if it was 0.5. Left pressed, image speed 0.5. Okay, so open this red one and create an event. Left pressed, go to control, drag the script and paste this image speed 0.5. Alright, open up the green, add left pressed, control, drag the script, and I'm going to paste this one. Alright, open up the yellow, mouse left pressed, control, drag the script and paste this one as well. Alright, so click OK. We are done with the purple. Alright, so let's save the project, and now we should have a click event or a pressed event on all those balloons, but we haven't added the sounds yet, but it will work pretty well. Let's go and run this out if it's working fine. Start, hop me. Okay, so guys, you can see that there is no sound, but our game is working fine. We have the animation of balloons, and when the animation ends, our balloon gets destroyed, and we have the click event on the coin, the star as well. Alright, so I hope that you have got the idea. This was a kind of difficult part for creating these balloons at specific position and detecting the position of coin as well. Next, what I want to do is I want to add the sound, I want to add the scores in my game, and I want to detect the lives, that if the 5 balloons go down, and then our game should end and we should navigate to the end screen. And there are small other things as well. We have the pause functionality, we have the go to main functionality. I'll do one by one. So next I will add the score functionality in our game. So let's do that. To add scores in our game, we need to create another controller. So I'll go to my objects folder. Inside the objects we have controllers folder, and I'm going to right click and create new object, and I'm going to name this controller score controller. Alright, and I'll click OK. Before writing anything inside this score controller, we need to create our font, because a score will be shown as font, so we need to create font first in order to show that scores. Alright, so there is a folder called fonts on the left side. I will right click on it and I will click on create font, and I will name this font score. Alright, and now I need to choose the font style, so I can choose any one. I will go with let's say we have Comic Sans MS. Alright, and I will change the size 40. Okay, so I'll click OK. So we have created our font. This is the font style that we will use for showing up in our playroom while implementing or playing the game. So let's go to our score controller, and inside this controller we are gonna create our event called create, and inside this create we are gonna bring up the script, and inside this script I'm going to define a global variable that will store the scores. So I will write global dot your underscore score equals to 0. All right, and I will add another variable global dot starts equals to 0. This variable is used to whether to detect we have started our game or not. All right, so these are the two variables, global variables, that we need in our create event. So let's save it and click on this tick icon, and I'm going to create another event. If I click on this draw, and there is another tab opened up, and we do need to click on the first item inside this drop down. So I'll click on draw. All right, and I'll go to control and I will drag script again. All right, so there is a way we can draw our scores. All right, so what I will do now, I will first set the position of my scores. So to set the position of my scores, I will set if global dot your scores is less than 100, then I will add global dot x position equals to room underscore width divided by 2 minus 50. I'm doing this because when our scores are getting greater than 2 digits or less than 2 digits, actually less than 3 digits, because we have added 100, then we need to shift our scores to the left side, because we want our score to be at the center of screen. So that's why I'm doing this. After that, I'm going to draw my scores with these 3 lines. I can use functions, built-in GML functions that I can use. So I can write draw underscore set, and I can first set the color of the font. So I can write draw underscore set underscore color, and inside it I can write C underscore, and it will show up all the colors that are available in my GameMaker language. So I will write C underscore black. Okay, so we have set our color. After that, we need to set our font style. We have already created our font called score. So we will let it know that that is the font that we need to use to show up the score. So I will write draw underscore set underscore font, and I will write the exact name of that font. Okay, so that is our score. Okay, so after that, the last line is we need to draw the score. So draw underscore text, and in here I need to write the position of my scores to show up on my screen. So I will write global dot x pos dot, and from the top we need to give y-axis, and I will write 170. All right, and after that I need to write the variable in which our scores are being stored. So if we go to our create and open up the script, you can see that this is the variable that we define, global dot your underscore score. So I will write global dot your underscore score. All right, so that's been done. Now if I click on this tick icon and I will click OK, and I will save my project, and if I play my game, my scores will be shown up, but they will not be incremented as I will click on different balloons. Okay, I just want to see that if the scores font is being shown up on my playroom or not. Okay, so I'll click on start, I'll click on pop me. These are not shown up. The reason is that I haven't added my controller inside this room. All right, so I will just open up my playroom. All right, and inside my objects tab, I will click on it. I will go to controller, and there is a controller score controller. All right, and I will just click right here. Let's click outside, and then I will drag it inside my grid. Okay, so that's been done. Now if I click on tick icon, I'll click on play button, and the scores should be shown up. By default the score will be 0, so I'll click on it. So you can see that the scores are being shown up. This is the 0. I need to now increment the score if I press each balloon, okay, and I will increment by 2. So let's go and open up our blue balloon, and inside my left pressed, when I left press any balloon, then what I will do, I will write global dot your underscore score, which is a variable, plus equals to 2. All right, I'll copy this line and I will paste this line in every balloon. Okay, so open up the red one, left pressed, open the script and paste this code right here. Okay, and I'll do this in all the balloons. Make sure you don't do any mistake, and make sure you, once you paste this line and you click on this tick icon, and I'll click OK and save your project. And if I click on this play button, the scores should increment if I press or click on any of those balloons. Okay, so now let's go. So you can see as I am clicking or pressing each balloon, the scores are getting incremented. But we need to increment our scores by 5 if we click on star. So let's go and open up the star, this one, okay, and open up the left pressed and just paste this line and change the 2 to 5. All right, and I'll click on this tick icon, okay, and okay, save the project, and I'll click on play button. Now click on start, click on pop me. Now make sure that if we click on star, the score should be incremented by 5. So it is incrementing by 5, so our scores are working fine. There's a lot of things we need to do right now. We need to add lives. If our balloons, 5 balloons gets down, then we need to end our game, and our game should navigate to our end screen, and inside the end screen we need to show up the current score and the high score that we have ever made on this particular device, whether it's iPhone, Android, or on desktop or web. All right, so let's first, what I'll do now, I will first add up the lives, and the numbers of lives will be shown on the top right corner. And if by default I'll set that number to 5, and when that number will become 0, we will navigate to our next end screen. So let's go and add up the lives. Now for adding lives, I'm going to create another controller, and I'm going to name this controller balloons controller, because that will cover up that how many balloons have gone down and how many balloons have to go down, and the remaining balloons. Okay, so let's click OK, and now I'm going to create, actually I'm going to use the same font style, same font size for the same lives. Don't make you confused with the name of this font. We can use the same font for multiple things. Okay, this will not create any problem. So I'll open up the balloons controller again, and inside it, when this controller will be created, what should we do? We should initialize our variable that should have the value of total lives of our game. So I will write global dot total underscore balloons, and total lives would be 5. Okay, so I'll click on tick icon, and I will go to add event, and I will add another event called step. All right, and what it will do, it will keep on checking if the variable total balloons are greater than 0 or not. If the values are getting have got lower than 0, less than 0, then we should navigate to our next room. We should end our game. All right, so I'm gonna check if global dot total underscore balloons less than equals to 0, then I will navigate to room underscore go to, and I will write here the name of my room. I haven't created my room yet, so let's name it end underscore room. All right, I'm just gonna create. Once I do with this controller, I'll go and create my room controller first. Okay, not room controller, we have our end room. Okay, so let's click on this tick icon. Now the last thing is that we need to draw our lives at the top right corner. So click on draw and click on draw. Okay, and I will drag the script, and inside it, again, as I did earlier, I need to draw underscore set and the color, and I can write C underscore black. And after that, I need to set it a font, and I'm gonna use the same font that I created under the fonts folder. Okay, and after that, I need to draw my text. So room underscore width minus 80. This is the X position for our text, and 170 is the Y position, and the variable to show up is global underscore total underscore balloons. All right, so we are done with this script. Let me re-verify the name of. So I'm gonna copy the name, and I'll click on tick, click OK. So I will right click room, create room. I will go to settings, and I will paste the name so that there is no difference and mistake in the spelling. So I will change the size. So width would be 768 and height would be 1024. Okay, so I'll just click on tick icon. There will be nothing, just a white screen. So we just need to verify whether the white screen shows up or not. All right, now the last thing we need to do is we need to go to all the balloons and check if any of these balloons are getting below. Go to the step, and this is where we are checking if any of the balloons are gone down or not. All right, we are destroying the instance, but with that we need to decrement the total balloons. If I open up this controller, balloons controller, and we need to copy this variable total balloons, and as any balloon goes down, we need to decrement its value. All right, so let's open up all the balloons, blue, step, and inside it I'm going to copy that variable, and I will write global dot that variable name, and I will write minus minus. All right, this will decrement this variable by 1. All right, so I'll copy this line, and I will open up all the balloons, and inside the script of step event I will paste this statement. Okay, as we know that step event automatically execute its actions 30 times in a second, so it will keep on checking. If the balloon has gone down, then we need to decrement that variable. Okay, so step, okay, and open up the yellow, step, open up the purple, and paste this one. All right, so we are done with all the script. The last thing we need to do is to add our controller in our play room. All right, so I will just come right here, and I will open up the objects tab, and I'll click on this icon, go to controller, and we have balloons controller. Okay, so I will just click right here, and I will drag it inside my grid. Okay, as I explained earlier that I'm clicking outside, because if I click on inside the grid, it just selects this orange object from this room, alright, rather than creating my controller and this question mark icon inside my grid. So I click on outside because I need to create this one, then after that I drag it inside my grid. So I'll click on this tick icon and I will save my project and let's play this. Alright, click on start, pop me, and you can see there is a 5. Now I will let 5 balloons go down and see if the game ends or not. So let's go the red. It's 4. Let's go 3, 2, 1, 0. So our game is working fine and we are navigated to our end screen. Now we need to design our end screen to show up the local score and the high score. The high score is a kind of tricky part, but we will do right now. So let's go and do that. I have my end underscore room opened and now I need to design this room first. So let's first bring up the objects that we already have in our objects folder. So we have our roof. Alright, click on it and drag it right here. Next we have, let's go to background tab and add our background. Go to objects tab and we have our ground. Alright, let's bring it right here. Alright, so now we need to import few more objects for bringing it up. So let's go to sprite, right click on it, create sprite, and we need to load sprite, and inside it we need to have our replay. Alright, click on center and click, I'm going to name it replay underscore sprite and I'll click OK. Let's right click on sprite, create sprite, and click on load sprite. And inside it we have our we have our blue, and now we need to bring up our exit, which is in red color. So click on exit, click on center, and I'm going to name it exit underscore sprite, and I'll click OK. Another object that we need to create just for designing purpose. So let's go and where it is, this is one. Okay, sprite 26 underscore 0. Okay, let's click on center and I'm going to name it balloons and sprite, and I'll click OK. These are just static objects. Okay, so now we need to create the objects out of those sprites. So right click and create, click on this icon, and I'm going to click on balloons and sprite. Okay, and I'm going to name it balloons and obj. Okay, and click OK. Alright, let's click on it and click on this object, click on this and just drag it right here. Okay, now we need to bring up two buttons. So let's first create the objects out of those sprites. So create object, click on this icon and replace sprite, replay underscore obj. Okay, let's right click on object, create the object for our exit sprite, exit underscore obj. Click OK. Alright, let's click on this icon, and first what I want to do now, I want to bring the reply and exit buttons into my buttons folder. Alright, let's drag this up inside buttons, drag the exit one inside button as well. Now click on this icon, go to the buttons folder and click on this replay, click right here and drag it right here. Okay, and click on this icon, go to the buttons folder, click on exit obj, click on this and drag it right here. Right click, delete. Okay, so now we have designed our interface. Inside this kind of rectangular balloons object, we need to show our current score and our high score. All right, but first of all, let's print up the current score if we end our game and we are navigated to our this room, this end room. Okay, so now let's click on this tick icon to save all the changes and click on it. Now for creating and showing up the local scores, we need to create another controller inside the objects folder, and inside the objects folder we have our controllers. Okay, right click on it, create object, and inside it I'm going to name this controller as our, what should we name it? Let's say your scores. Okay, click on OK. But before that, in the end screen, I want to create another font. All right, so for creating another font, we need to right click on font, create font, and I'm going to name this font your score. And what should be the font family? So I'm going to click on this one. You can click on any of these, and I'm going to change the size to 50. All right, so everything is pretty fine, so I'll click OK. So we have defined our font. Now let's open up our your score controller, and inside this controller I'm going to click on draw and click on draw again, and inside it I'm going to bring up my script, and inside it I need to draw that scores. Okay, so draw underscore set color C underscore black, draw underscore set underscore font your score. This is the name of font that we have just created under the fonts folder. And lastly, we need to print our font room underscore width divided by 2, and I will decrement it by 220. And from the top I need to bring up the font up to the 300 pixels. And lastly, I need to print up the string, and I need to concatenate our scores with the score text. So I will write score, and I will add few spaces, and I will end up the double quotes, and I will concatenate it with string global dot your underscore score, the same variable that we have been using for showing up the score in our playroom. All right, make sure there is no syntax error, every bracket is closed. Let's save it. Okay, click tick icon, click OK, and I'll open up my end room, and I will go, let's maximize it, click on this icon, and I will go to controllers, and I will click on your score. Okay, I will zoom in, I will click right here, and I will drag it inside the grid. Okay, so this will print the scores, our current score, under these rectangular balloons objects. So I'll click this tick icon, I will press Ctrl S to save my project, and I'll click my play button. Click on start, click on it, and I'll just let it go. Let's create some scores. Okay, so now I'll let my 5 balloons go down. All right, so you can see that we have our end screen, and we have shown our score 10 that we just made, and we have 2 buttons. Now let's write some click event on this replay and exit button. We also need to write our click event for our exit button that is at the start screen. All right, so let's first open up this exit button that is inside the start page, and I will add event, I will mouse, and I will write left released. Okay, and I will bring up my script under this event. Okay, now we need to end our game. To end our game, we can write game underscore end. And this will close our game whether we are running on desktop, mobile or web. Okay, let's copy this line, and I will open up my exit obj as well, and I will add the same event left released, bring up the script, and I will paste this one. Click on tick icon. Now click on replay button and open left released, and inside the control tab we have our script, and inside the script we should navigate to our play screen. All right, playroom, when we click on replay button. So we will write room underscore go to, and inside it we need to enter the name of our room, which is play. All right, so we need to test all these buttons now. Let's click OK and save our project. Let's click our play button. And first I'll click on exit. Game has ended. So this is working fine. All right, and now let's go and check out our replay button. Start, click on it, and let's just go down. And we have our scores. Let's click on replay. So we are navigated to our play screen. All right, so for now everything is working fine. All right, we have to add our high scores now. All right, so let's go and let's write some code for including our ini file, which is just like the file handling for implementing the high scores inside this end page. So let's go and do that. So let's create our controller for our high scores. So I'm going to create an object and I'm going to name it high scores. All right, and inside this controller I'm going to create an event called create, and I'll go to control, and again I will drag up my script. And inside this script I need to use something called ini files. Just like file handling, we create our text files and we write anything inside that text file. We open that file in order to fetch any data from that text file. So now first of all I need to open my ini file, and if that file doesn't exist, this function will automatically create that ini file. So I will write ini underscore open. This is the built-in function. This will open up my ini file that is saved inside my project, whether we are running our game in Android, iOS, web or desktop. Okay, so inside its brackets I'm going to write the name of my ini file, and I'm going to name it high scores.ini. ini should be the extension of our ini files. All right, if it doesn't exist first time, it's going to create. All right, and after that I need to define a variable which will store my high score in that file. All right, so I will write urhigh score equals to ini underscore read underscore real. All right, and just like we create our database, in ini file we need to create our table and we need to define attributes inside that table. Right now we just have our one attribute, that is high score, so we need to do it right here. So I will write high score table, and I have given it the name of my table. Okay, and after that I need to give it an attribute name h underscore score. This is the attribute name. We can write anything right here, and after that we need to give it the default value, the first value that needs to be stored in this attribute, and the default value should be 0. And when we will install our game in our Android device, this value should be 0. All right, so let's add the semicolon, and after that we need to check if our high scores are less than our current score. Then we need to update our high score variable with our current score. Otherwise the high score will remain the previous scores that we have stored in this high scores.ini file. So right now we will write global underscore your underscore score, which is the variable that is storing our local scores, greater than the variable, And inside this if condition, we can I'm just going to copy this variable and paste it right here, and this would be equal to my current score. Alright, and just like we do in file handling, we need to close our file. Once we open the file, we need to close it. ini underscore close will close my ini file. Alright, so that's been done for this script. We need to add another script for showing up our score, for drawing our score, just like we have been doing in our local score. So let's click on this tick icon, and I'm going to create another event, and that would be draw. Inside the draw, we can draw our text. So I will write draw set color, and I will write black. Draw set color, and I'm going to use same font like I used in your scores, so because that should be equal. So I will write your score, and after that I will draw my text. Room underscore width divided by 220, and from the top it should be 400 because our local scores are at 300 from the top, so this should be 400. And I will write best, and I will add few spaces. Okay, and I will concatenate it with my variable that I have created inside my create script. I haven't added global keyword inside just before this variable name because I'm using this variable inside the same object. If I needed to use any variable outside this object in another object, I could write global dot before this variable name. So I'm going to copy this variable, click on it, and I'm going to paste it right here, and I will add 2 brackets after that. Okay, so make sure you write your code same as I have done. All right, but we need to create another controller, and that controller will keep on checking if we have ended our game, or if our game has ended, even then we should execute this high scores code. All right, otherwise it will keep on running and it will create a lot of performance problem. All right, so now we need to create another controller, and inside this controller we just create controller, and I'm going to name it check high score. All right, and I will add an event step, and I will drag my script. Okay, inside this script I need to check a variable that I added in my scores controller, and I'll show you just now because I need to add one line in that controller in my balloons object as well. Okay, so first of all, let's check if global dot stars equals to 1, and this will become equals to 1 when any balloon goes down the screen, and otherwise it will remain 0. So if any balloon goes down the screen, then it will become 1, and then we will check our high scores. Okay, so I will write ini underscore open, same as we did inside it, because we are using ini file, same table. We need to actually, let's open up the high scores, and inside the create I'm going to copy this whole code. Okay, and I'm going to paste that code inside it. All right, so now we are done with it. But we need to change one line inside it. We are not storing our local scores inside our your high score, but we need to change this line in ini underscore right underscore real, and I'm going to bring up my table high score table, comma h underscore score global dot your underscore score. All right, and I'm opening up my table, and inside the table we have attribute h_score, and I'm adding the value inside that attribute with my local scores. Alright, so let's this is inside the step event. Let's click OK and let's save this one. Our script is inside the check high score controller inside the step event. I'll click OK. Alright, and inside our balloons, let's open up the blue, and inside the step event, inside this one, I need to write global dot stars equals to 1. This is where we are storing 1 inside this stars variable. So I'm going to copy this line, click OK, and I'm going to paste it in all the balloons object. Step, paste it right here, and I will open up green. Step, this one, I'll click OK. Yellow, click OK. Purple, step, click this tick icon and click OK. Alright, so we are done with it. Now we need to add both the controllers inside our end room. Alright, so I will just zoom in, and I will open up my controllers, your high score, controllers, and high scores. Alright, so let's add our tick icon, and we also need to add these controller inside our playroom. So check high score, I'll drag this one and I will go to controller, your high score. Alright, let's click on tick icon. I'll press Ctrl S to save my project. Now this should work. So I have played my game. Let's click on start, click on pop me. Wow. Actually we have done something wrong. Best score, let's replay it, and I want to check if my scores get updates or not. High scores should remain 25. So our best high scores are working fine, but one thing we need to do, we don't need to add our scores. I think we have added wrong controller inside our playroom. So let's open up the play, and I will click on it and I will drag it right here, and I will just hover my cursor on it and see the name of my controller right below this window. This is check high score, this is your score, this shouldn't be your score. I will delete this one, right click and delete. Okay, so I will drag this one. I just need to have the check high score inside my play screen. Okay, let's save it, click tick, and let's play the game. Start, pop me, and I will make more than 25 for now because the previous high scores were 25. Let's click on star. So now I will let all the balloons go down, and the high scores should be replaced with 29. So our best high score 29, and replay, and 0. So let's go and see local score should be 2 and high score should be 29. So our high scores are working fine. If I close my game, or whether I'm playing on Android, iPhone, Windows Phone, desktop or web, this INI file will be created inside that application directory. So we are done with our scores part. Next we need to do a few more things. We need to add our sound, and we need to add the functionality of go to main menu and the pause functionality. Alright, so now let's go and do that. So in order to add our sound, first we need to import our sound files inside our sound folder. We have already included our sound for the balloon click event. Alright, if I open this up, pop me, and if I click on left press, you can see that we have added our sound 0 when we click on this balloon. All right, and it has set to false because we don't want this sound to play again and again. All right, so first of all, let me go and I'm going to open this up and I'm going to change its name and I'm going to name it burst. All right, and I'm going to open pop me object, click on release, and it has already updated its name. All right, so now this is the sound that I will also use for my touch event for all the balloons in my play screen. All right, so now I will go to blue balloon, and inside my left pressed, rather than using this object, I will use the script this time to add our sound. All right, so to add our sound, we can write audio underscore, and if I go down, we must find audio play sound. All right, and inside it I'm going to name my sound object. So burst, this is the name of our file, and after that we need to set our priority, that which sound should be played first. So I'll say it 10 and the loop should be false. We don't want this sound to play again and again. All right, so I'm going to copy this line, click this tick. We could also drag this object inside our actions window and select our this file from that window. All right, but I'm showing you that how to add sounds inside our script. It has a kind of benefit to add sound with the script. Everything that you can add or do with these built-in tools, you can also do the same thing with the help of script. All right, so that's why I'm using both the things just to show you that how to use scripts as well as built-in objects. So I'll click OK and I'll go to green, select, open the script, and I will paste it right here. Okay, open the yellow one, left pressed, open the script, and inside this script I will paste this line as well. And the last one is our purple balloon. So we are done with our all the balloons click event. All right, so now I will play the game. So let's click on play button and it will open up the game for me. Click on start, and if I click on it, you will see there will be a sound that we already added. So there is a sound. So you can see that there is a sound for all the. Now let's go and add few sounds inside our sound folder. I'm gonna create and click on this one, and I'm gonna click on coin pick and our lost balloon. First of all, coin pick and coin pick sound, and I'll click OK. If I open this again, you will see that there will be a slider for our volume. Let's bring it down. I'll click OK. Let's add over another sound for our lost balloon. So I'll click on last one. Okay, let's click OK. So I will name it lost. Okay, double click on it. We have our slider, and if I drag it down to decrease the volume, so we have added our sound. Now let's open up our coin object. Inside our left pressed, we have already added this play sound. If I open this up, we need to let it know that which sound we want to play when this coin will be left pressed. So I will click on coin pick, set the false loop equals to false, and I'll click OK and OK. And another thing that I want to add is inside the step event, we are checking if our balloon has gone down or not. So this is where we are checking. So here is the benefit of doing or playing sound inside our script. If we use built-in object, we can't add a condition that if this condition matches, then play the sound. But right now you can see that there is a condition, and inside this condition we will write our line, and that will be used to play our sound. Okay, so I will write audio underscore play, and we have sound, and inside it we need to give the name of our sound. So we have our lost, LOST, this is the name of our sound, priority is 10, and loop is false. Alright, so I'm gonna copy this line and I'm open up all the balloons inside the step event, and I'm going to paste that line. Open the green one, go to step event, yellow one, step, and the last one is our purple balloon. Alright, so we are done with adding our all sounds on our objects. Now let's go and play our game and check the sounds, if the sounds are playing properly or not. So let's check this out. Our game has started. Click on start and I'm gonna click on pop me. So there is a sound, lost balloon. There is a coin balloon sound as well. Alright, so we are navigated to our next end screen. So our sounds are working fine. If I click on replay, there will be a sound as well. Alright, so our sound is working fine. So let's close the game. So we are done with our sound. Now we have to do two more things in our game. That is our pause game on this object, and we have our go to menu game. Alright, there is not that much menu in our game, but I just want to show you that if you develop a game that contains a big menu, you must know how to create the menu inside your game. So let's go and do that. You can see that we have already included our pause object inside our objects folder, but now we need to add another object that if we click on pause object, there should be a button called resume. Alright, so I'll right click on sprite, create sprite, and I will load my sprite, and inside it we must have a button called resume, and this one. I'll open this up and I will name it resume underscore sprite, and I'll click center, click OK. So we have added this object inside our sprites folder. Now I need to right click on objects folder, create object, select that sprite, and I will name it resume underscore object. Okay, and I'll click OK. So now first of all, we have already added this pause object. You can see that there is a pause button right here, and now if we click on it, then there should be a resume button shown up on this screen, and all of our game, the movement of balloons should be paused up. Okay, so I'll click on this one and I'll open up this pause object, and inside it I need to click on mouse and left released. Alright, and I will open this control and drag my script inside my actions window, and inside it I need to deactivate all the objects that are running on my screen. We have our scores, we have our balloons, we have our sound. So we have one line inside GameMaker Studio that we can use to deactivate all the objects. So I will write instance underscore deactivate all, and inside it I will send it a boolean true. Alright, so it's gonna deactivate all the things, and now I need to destroy this button event. Once the resume button shown up, I need to destroy this pause button. Okay, and instance underscore destroy, and this is gonna destroy this pause button. The above line is gonna remove all other objects except this one. We need to explicitly destroy this particular object. So now we have paused our game, but we haven't shown up our resume button. We need to show our resume button when this pause button is clicked. So we can also do it inside our script, but I want to show you with the help of the built-in objects inside our menu. So if I click on main 2, at the top you can see that there is a objects tab, and inside it there is a bulb sign and I will drag this one right here, and we have this create instance window, and inside it I need to select on self, and from here I need to select the object which I want to create, and after that I need to give it a position that has to be added for this object, and the position should be center. So I will write room underscore width divided by 2, and inside the y I will write room underscore height divided by 2. Okay, now click OK. Alright, let's save our project, and I'm gonna play this one. I haven't implemented yet the click on resume button, but I just wanna see if our pause button click actually working or not. Click on start, click on pause me, and this is running. I'll click on this button. So now there was a balloon at the back, that's why there was a sound. So you can see that as I clicked on that button, we have all other objects have been paused. Statically they are stopped at their position where they were already. Alright, and we have a resume button. Now we need to add a click event on this resume button to go back to our gameplay screen. And to do that, let's open up our resume underscore obj object, and inside it I will add a left released event. Let's bring up our script, and inside this script I need to activate all the instance that was previously deactivated. Alright, so I'm gonna write a kind of same function. So I will write instance underscore activate all. Alright, so it's gonna activate all the objects that was paused with the function instance deactivate all. Okay, and now I need to destroy this instance, resume button instance. Otherwise it will keep on showing up on that play room. So instance underscore destroy. Alright, if you remember that once we clicked on this pause object, we destroyed our paused button right here. Alright, so this wasn't deactivated, this was actually destroyed. Okay, so when we click on resume button, we also want that resume button, that pause object, to bring back at its proper position. Okay, so I need to create that object because previously it was destroyed. So I'll go to main2 tab, not main2, I'll click on main1. Okay, and inside the main1 we have at the top the bulb icon, and I will drag this one. So we have our create instance window, and I will select this pause obj. All right, and from the top I will write 70, and from the left I will write 70, and from the top I need to give it a value 190. All right, so I'll click OK, and now OK. All right, so now let's go and run our game. I'll click on start, I'll click on pop me, and I'll click on this button. So we have our resume button. Now if I click on it, that balloon should be shown up and the game should be started from the same state where it was stopped. So let's click on this one. So you can see the game has started. Let's click this one again. All right, there was a star. Now if I click on it, we should have star shown on our play screen. So there is a star. All right, so you can see that our pause functionality has been done. Now we need to implement our main menu function. For the main menu functionality, I want to show up a message that if user clicks on this button, let me show you this button, then we need to re-verify from the user that you really want to go to the main menu, because you are in progress and your scores will be lost. So click on yes or no. So we need to import our 3 more objects from our assets folder. So I'm going to right click on sprites, create sprite, load sprite, and inside it we have no. So I'm going to name it no underscore sprite, and I'll click on center, and I'll right click sprite, create sprite, load sprite, and we should have our yes button and this one. Let's open this up first because I'm looking at it first. So text sprite, and I'll click on center it as well. So now just import the last one, and let's go to the bottom, and at the bottom we have yes. Open this up, and I'm gonna write yes underscore sprite, the name of my sprite. So I'll click on center and click OK. Now I need to make the objects out of these sprites. So I'll right click on my objects folder, create object, and I will click on no sprite, and I will name it no underscore obj. Click OK. Right click object, create object, click on this icon, yes, and I will write yes underscore obj. Okay, and the last one is our text. Create object, select text sprite, and I will write text underscore obj. Alright, now let's open up our menu underscore object, and inside our left released event we need to bring up our control, and same as we did in our pause event, we need to deactivate all the objects that are running behind. Okay, so I can write instance underscore deactivate all, and inside the parameter I will send it true, and I will destroy this instance. Alright, and now I will go to the main one tab, and I will drag this window, create instance window, and now I will create all these 3 objects with the help of this create instance window. Alright, so I will right click on it, and I will click on yes object, and I need to give it some position. Alright, on the left side I will show a yes button, on the right side I will show up the no button. So I will write room underscore width divided by 3, and from the top room underscore height divided by 2 plus 100, and I'll click OK, and I will drag this again for the no object, no, and I will give it room underscore width divided by 3 plus room underscore width divided by 3, and from the top I will give the same height divided by 2 plus 100, and I'll click OK, and I need to show up my text underscore object. Okay, so I'll select that text, and I will give it position from the left, room underscore width divided by 2, and from the top room underscore height divided by 3. Alright, so that's pretty much it. Now let's go and check this out. If we click on this menu underscore obj object, we should navigate to our screen with all these 3 objects created. Okay, so let's save our project, and I'll go and click on my play button. So I'll click on start button, I'll click on top me, and I'll click on this icon. There is an error. So alright, no object. So let's go and let's open up our menu object and open up create instance of no object. Alright, here is an error. We have added room plus width. Actually, I should have added room underscore width. Okay, so here was an error. So it's good for you that you have seen an error first time in this video, that how to resolve that error. So here was an error, so I'll click OK, and I'm gonna play this again. Let's play my game. Alright, let's click on start of me, and I'll click on this menu icon, and you can see we have our screen with a message. We have yes button, no button. There is nothing going on right here. We need to add our click event on this yes and no. If we click on no, then we should navigate to our playing screen. If we click on yes, we should navigate to our start page. Alright, so now let's close this up, and I will go and click on yes, and I will go and left released, and I will drag my script, and I will write room underscore go to, and I will give it the name of my room, start page. Alright, and let's click OK. Let's check this out. If our start button click event actually working. Let's click on start of me, click on menu, and click on yes. So we are navigated to our start screen. Now let's go and add a click event or our no underscore obj button. Let's open our no underscore obj object and add our left released event, and inside it let's bring up our script. So what I'll do now, I will activate instance underscore activate all, and I will destroy this particular object that is opened. So we have no object opened, so I will write instance underscore destroy. Alright, but on the same room, on the same screen, we have two more objects that are created. We have our yes object and we have our text object. We also need to destroy those objects as well. So how can we destroy it? We have used instance underscore destroy that automatically destroyed objects that is opened and the script that is written inside that particular object. So in order to use this function to destroy any other object, we have something called with. Alright, and inside the with we have to give it the name of object on which we want to apply our functions. So I will write yes underscore obj, and inside the body of with we can execute this function. Alright, so this will go and check this out if yes underscore object exists, and it will apply this function. We can write anything inside it. Right now I'm destroying the object that is written inside this object, this function. So I will copy this one, paste it, and I will change its name to text underscore obj, and I need to destroy both of them, so that's why I have written this inside it. Alright, so the last thing that I need to do, I need to recreate my menu underscore object. Alright, if I open up my menu underscore object inside the left released event and script, I destroyed this object. I need to recreate this object inside my play screen. We are in play screen whether we are clicking in pause button, go to main menu button. Alright, we are creating and destroying object dynamically with our scripts. Alright, so now let's go back to our no object, and I'm going to use the same method. Let's drag over bulb icon, and inside it I'll click on this icon, and I need to select main underscore object. To recreate this, I'll give 170, and in the Y I will give 190. Okay, let's click OK. Click OK, and I'll save my project, and I'll click on this play button to verify the no click event from my main menu screen. So I'll click on this one. We are still our play in our playroom. but we have destroyed all the other objects. We have deactivated our balloons and we have created 3 objects. Now I need to click on no button to destroy these 3 objects and bring back our main menu button and replay our game. So I'll click on it. You can see that our game has started from the same point where we left, and we have the menu button again. Let's go back to our menu. So we are done with our game. All right, next thing I want to do is I want to increase the speed of balloons. This is the last thing that I want to do in this game, and after that I will just show you how to export this game for your Android device. So let's go and write the script for speed up the balloons with the time. But there is one small thing that I want to share with you. There is a small problem inside the GameMaker Studio. If I play my game and if my balloons are started creating in my playroom, by default the GameMaker Studio enables double click. So if the speed of balloons gets increased with the time, our speed of clicking our left mouse button or speed of pressing the mobile screen will be increased. All right, so as it will increase, the device will consider our speed as a double click. So if we double click anything, it will consider as 1 click. So while double clicking on 2 balloons, our 1 balloon will be popped up. When I faced this problem, I spent a lot of days to find out the solution, to find out where is the problem. And once I found the problem, I thought that I need to deactivate the double click event inside the GameMaker Studio. So now I need to create a controller. I just need to add 1 line inside this controller. So I will add a create event and I will bring up my script, and inside it I need to write just 1 device. So I will write device underscore mouse underscore db click enabled, and I will give it false. Disable double click. Okay, and I will click on tick icon, click OK and save this one. And I need to add this controller. Actually open this up and double click controller. Okay, open the playroom and I will select this particular controller, double click controller, click right here and drag it right here. All right, you will not see any difference right now, but if you play this game on mobile device, you will really face this problem, and I have resolved and show you how to resolve this problem. So now let's go and create we have our speed controller. Okay, and inside this controller, in order to speed up our balloons, we need to keep on checking our scores. I will increase the speed of balloon based on our scores, that how much scores we have made, and based on those scores we will keep on increasing the speed of our balloons. So now let's go and add our step event and bring up the script, and inside this script I will write the codes to speed up the balloons. So let's make this screen a bit bigger. So I'll click on this maximize, so it has become bigger. Now inside it I will write a bunch of lines, but the logic of lines are pretty simple. I'll use if conditions to check the score. So I will write global dot your underscore scores. If it's score or scores, let me check this out. Okay, go to score controller, create, and this is your score. Okay, so let's open this up, and this is the score, and I will check if it is greater than 30 and global dot your underscore score is less than equals to 60, then I need to increase the speed, and for that I will write speeds equals to 17 global dot create equals to 16 and global dot create underscore coin equals to 200. All right, with the speed, as the speed of balloon increased, we need to keep the distance between balloons same. All right, if the balloons keep on speeding up and we don't increase the distance between balloons, then there will be a lot of difference and the creation of balloons will be too long. Okay, and there will be a lot of distance, vertical distance between balloons. So we need to keep on tracking the distance, vertical distance between balloons with the help of these two variables. Now I'll copy this one and I will add 5 to 6 more conditions. So let's copy this 5, 6 more times, and I will just go and change the values right here. So I will change the 30 to 60 and this one to 100. Okay, and I'll change the 17 to 19, 16 to 14, because I want to, if the speed of balloons gets increased, I want the speed of creation of balloon to be increased. All right, so that the distance between balloons remain the same. And I will create the coin at more speed, so I will write 220, and after that inside it I will add 100 and I will change it to 150. Okay, let's speed up the balloons from 17 to 21 and create will be at 13 speed and change from 220 to 240, and inside it let's add 150, 210 and 23, 1, 2 and 240. Okay, 300, 210 and 25, 11. Keep the create coin to 240. Okay, and another thing is let's change it to 400, 300 and change the 17 to 27, 10 and 200 to 240. And the last one is if it's greater than 400, less than 600, then we need to change the speed from 17 to let's say 30 and creation speed 9, and let's add 240. I know that the logic of speeding up the balloons can be modified and can be written in much better way, but being a silly programmer, I just didn't want it to think on it or spend time on it. If you have another good algorithm, then you should write that one rather than follow me and speed up the balloons like that. Okay, so we can write as many conditions if I want to increase the speed as much as I want, but I will go with these much conditions. Okay, so let's click minimize this window and I'll click on tick icon and click OK and click OK. I'll save my project and I will play my game to see if with the scores increase the speed of balloon gets increased or not. So let's pop me and I'll just play this game. if you are analyzing carefully, then you must see the speed is getting increased with the time. It depends upon the scores. All right, and we have made our 200. All right, and I'm going to end this game to see if the high scores are updated or not. So let's let it go. So we have our current score 239 and we have our best scores 239. So guys, we have completed our whole game and we have implemented all the functionality that we discussed at the start of our game. Now it's time to export our game for our Android device, and I'll show each and every step, and I'll give you the assets for our logo, for our splash screen logo, and for the multiple sizes logo that are required for our Play Store requirements. So let's go and export our game for our Android device, and I'll show you the running game on my Android device. Now at the top menu bar, if I click on this drop down, we can see that there are a bunch of platforms that we can export this game for. We have Windows, we have Mac OS, we have iOS, Android, and bunch of other things. If you are using Windows system, you can export this game on Android, Windows, HTML, and Ubuntu. But if you want to export this game for iOS, you must be running GameMaker Studio on Mac, because without using Mac, you can't export this game. So I'm going to be showing you that how to export your game for Android. There are a bunch of things that need to be configured for exporting this game. So on the left side, if I click on this global game settings, and a new window will be opened. At the top, you will see that we have bunch of different platforms. For those we can export our game. All right, so if I click on Android, you will see that there are a bunch of things that we need to write inside it. We have to give the name of our game, and the name of our game should be same, should be permanent, and that should be same as the name that we write for our Play Store. Okay, then we need to give it a variant, and we need to give it a splash screen and different sizes of logos. All right, but before that, I just want to let you know that if I go to File and click on Preferences, all right, and I need to click on Android. This is Android. All right, and inside it we need to give it some files. For exporting our game for Android device, we must have some tools installed in our system. We must have our Java development kit in our system. We should have our NDK in our system, and we should have our Android SDK installed in our system. So I'm going to be showing you that how to install all these things in our system. So first of all, let's go to Google and just write JDK and click on the first link, and it will take you to the URL, and you need to click on this icon. And when you will download this JDK, all right, install this JDK with the default settings in your system. Once you install it, you need to go to your properties of you need to go to C drive, and inside C drive, click on program files. Inside program files, click on Java, click on Java, and we have JDK, and inside it click on bin, and you will be given this URL. You need to copy this URL. All right, and once you copy this URL, just right click on the My System, all right, and go to the properties of your system, and inside it you need to click on Advanced System Settings. Inside Advanced System Settings, click on Advanced tab. Inside Advanced tab, you need to click on Environment Variables. Click on this. All right, and inside the lower window, you need to find something called Path. All right, just click on it and click on Edit. All right, and inside it, you need to give the path that you have copied by clicking on New, and inside it, you need to just paste that URL. I have already pasted that URL inside my environment variables. You need to add that URL inside it as well. All right, once you do it, click OK, and click OK. So we have configured our Java development kit, that is our JDK in our system. Now we need to install NDK in our system. So install NDK, just go to developer.android.com/ndk. all right, and from here you can download NDK, and once you download it, you just need to save this NDK inside any directory in your system. You don't need to install it in your system. Okay, so just if I click on download, and from here you need to click on whether if your system is 32-bit, click on this link. If your system is 64-bit, click on this link. All right, and it's a zip file. Make sure you extract this file in your system. And the last thing you need to have in your system, and that is a big thing, that is Android SDK. And if we Google the Android SDK, it will take you to the Android Studio website, and from here you need to download and install Android Studio, because Android SDK is by default installed and come with the Android Studio. So once you install this Android Studio, you will have this SDK. all right, so we need our Android SDK for our GameMaker Studio to export our game for Android. But it's a good thing that you install Android Studio as well. It's not a very big size. So let me show you what is SDK. all right, when you will have your Android Studio installed, inside that Android Studio you will have something called SDK folder. all right, and inside it there is an SDK manager, and if I open this SDK manager, you will see something like this. And inside it, this is all you need to do. Inside it, I have different versions of my Android. all right, if you're using Android phone, you must know we have our Lollipop version, we have our KitKat versions, we have our Marshmallow versions. Okay, so right now it is showing me 25.0, we have 24, and down to the bottom, the lowest version is at the bottom. all right, so what we need to do now, we need to install all the files inside this SDK. It will take a lot of time. If you want to export your game for all the versions of Android device, and you intend to put your game on Play Store for Android, and all the users who have all the versions of Android, then you need to install all the packages. Just select this one and install 49 packages. I have installed all the packages up to 6.0. I just need to update the packages. If I click on 6.0, you can see that I have installed all the things. Some of the things are not installed, these are new, and the Android SDK manager automatically updates these things. Some things that I need to update, like I need to Android TV for updating my Android SDK. all right, but the previous version is good for now. Okay, so my game, if I go to 7.0, you can see that I have installed nothing inside this version. So my game will not be used and cannot be deployed for Android device that have Android version 7.0. So if you want to play your game on Android on all the versions, you need to click on all the check boxes like this and install this one. It will take a lot of time because the whole thing will be around 50 GB. all right, so if you don't want your game to work below any version, so don't need to install it. Just select the later versions from 4.0 up to the 7 and install that one. You don't need to go to the 2.0. No device nowadays work on 2.0 version. all right, so once you install it, you need to close this SDK, and it can take 1 day, 2 days, or so many days. Okay, depends upon your internet connection. So I'm going to close this one. So now let's go to GameMaker Studio, and inside it, if I go to File and the Preferences, this window will open, and inside it I have just clicked Android. all right, and inside it I need to give it a path of my SDK. I need to give it a path of my NDK and a path of my JDK. All right, so if I just check Android SDK, it's showing me some error that SDK directory does not exist. I have given something wrong path of my SDK. If I just click on it and let's go to my Android SDK, and I have named this folder by my own, and I will click on the whole folder of SDK. All right, not just the SDK manager, this one. All right, I need to select all the whole folder of this SDK. Okay, I'll click on it and I'll click OK. All right, and now I will check if my SDK is properly configured in GameMaker Studio. I can click on this check Android SDK, and if I click on it, you can see that SDK plus JDK plus key store, all the things are okay. All right, I've already given the path of my Android NDK. If I show you Android NDK, I don't need to install Android NDK. So this is the Android NDK, and inside it I have another folder and all these folders. I need to give the path up to this folder. Okay, so I've given the path up to that folder, and if I click on check Android NDK, it's showing me that NDK is okay. And I need to give the path of my JDK, not the bin but before bin. Okay, this is the path of JDK: C, program files, Java, and JDK 1.7.0. You might have the later version of JDK. So this is all the things that we need to configure for exporting our game for Android. Now I will click on OK. All right, so now we need to go to our global game settings, and I'll click on Android tab, and inside it I need to give the name of my game. So I will click on this text box and I will name it Balloons Pop. Okay, I can add space as well, and the version of this game would be 1.0.0, and I can write any version. Make sure when you update your game, you must know that you need to update the version as well in order to update your game on Play Store. And this is the name of my package. It can be anything starting from the com and your company name, and after that the name of your application. And orientation, our game is portrait. It doesn't work on landscape, so I have selected portrait. All right, and I'm gonna select all the architecture. It depends upon the hard drive hardware that your game is working on, whether it's desktop, mobile, or web. So I'm going to select all of these things because I want my game to work on all these hardware devices. All right, so now I need to update my logos and splash screen. If I click on update, and I will go to assets, and this is the folder that I have just added. Inside it, I'm going to give the link of this folder in this. Actually, I'm gonna add this folder in the same link that I have given you for these folders. All right, you can go and get this folder from now on. Okay, so I'll double click on it, and you can see that I have added different logos and a splash screen. So I'll click on splash screen and I'll open this up. Make sure it is of the portrait size, and the size of it should be same as the size of our rooms that we added in our rooms folder, and that is 768 by 1024. Now I need to update my logos. So it's saying me that it should be 170 by 170. I have created the logos in Photoshop. So I'll click on select on it and I'll click open. Now I need to select the 72 by 72. This is 72, 48, and 36. All right, and I have added all the things inside this tab. On the left side, if I click on graphics, and I will go with the default settings of graphics. If I go to social, I don't need to do anything inside it. If I go to permission, and from here I can choose if my game require internet connection, no, so I'll click on it. If my game require external storage, no, and nothing inside it. But I will go with internet connection on, because sometimes I want to put ads on my game, so I will keep the internet connection on from here. It doesn't require Bluetooth connection for my game, so I'll go with all these settings. Okay, so I will click OK. Now for exporting our game, we must click on Android from this drop down in order to export my game. If you want to check this game for your Android device, you can just plug that device in with your system, and you will just play this game after doing all those settings and configurations and clicking this Android option from this drop down, and it will automatically run and install this game on your Android device. But if you want to publish your game on Play Store, you must create its package APK file for the game. So now let's go and create our APK file. So click on File and click on Create Application, and it will ask you for the directory where I want to save my APK file, and I will click on Desktop and I'll click Save. It might take some time, depends upon the speed of my system or the size of my game that I have just developed. In my case, and for this game, it takes about 5 minutes. So we need to wait for it for 5 minutes. It might hang on sometimes, but it will eventually create the APK file in your system. So let's wait for it to create our APK file. If I come to my desktop, you will see that we have a package created for our game, and this is the package that has been created for our game with the same name, and this is the package that we can use to upload our games on the Play Store or install our game on any Android device. And the same process you can use for installing your game on other devices like Windows Phone, iOS. If you are using Mac, then you can also export your game for Mac. So I hope that you have learned a lot from this tutorial. You have developed a complete game. If you want more tutorials, make sure you subscribe my channel and like this video and share this video with your fellows. I have planned to create some more videos using Unity 3D for creating some 2D and 3D games. So make sure you subscribe my channel. Thanks for watching this tutorial.